KelnSolar.com. Keln Solar. We move water.
At the cabin or on the farm, Access Rural Internet gives you speed and service you can rely on. Right now, get Access Rural Internet for as low as $69.95 a month for 24 months, including free service calls by our local techs, a free Wi-Fi router, and a strong, reliable signal matched by our strong, reliable customer service. Great service is never far away with Access Rural Internet. Visit myaccess.ca to book your free site survey.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It is the Thursday edition of the all-new Sportscage. 3 hours, Barney Shankaruk, Kellen Enslev, the Sheriff, Alan Lee, Colson and Curtis. We got a show. We got a rundown for you here. What we got? We're going to talk off the hop about the CFL awards that'll be handed out tonight in British Columbia. We'll talk about the riders that are up, obviously, for the awards. Interesting story. We're going to go through tickets. There are still quite a few tickets left for the Grey Cup. I don't know where everyone else stands on this, but it is sitting exactly where I kind of thought it would be. I know a lot of people maybe thought it would be a sellout. Obviously, if the BC Lions were there, if the Riders were there, would it be a sellout? I don't know. We'll get into that. It's been 20 years since something that Rider Nation wants to forget about. If you're watching the stream, we're going to play that video coming up momentarily. U of R Rams, Laval Rouge-or the Mitchell Bowl goes down Saturday at Mosaic Stadium. We are going to talk today to head coach of the U of R Rams, Mark McConkey. We're going to talk to offensive lineman from the U of R Rams, Parker Hoda, later in the show. Hour 3, we also got Glen Suitor, and then Arash Madani in hour 2 joins us from the Grey Cup. But in hour 1, also, I forgot to mention this. Stupid of me. Former U of S Husky, won a Vanier Cup. He played with the Bombers. He played with the Riders, but more importantly, he played with the BC Lions and is now the British Columbia Lions offensive line coach. Kelly Bates from Humboldt, Saskatchewan, is going to join us around 3:30 to talk about the season for the Lions, the Grey Cup, and obviously his time winning the Vanier Cup with the Huskies. Kellen's in today, riding shotgun here. Hey, civic election yesterday. First off, can we talk about that? I don't know. Did everyone in this room vote? Everyone voted? Are you guys lying? Curtis is... I like an honest guy, Curtis. How were the lineups everywhere that you guys... I heard it was the longest lineup. I don't know if that's a good thing in the history.
Well, the interesting thing for me and my voting station was that Comfort Suites on Diefenbaker, which I think may have been yours as well.
It correct is.
Up there in the north. And so I sort of lucked out because I came home from work around 1 o'clock, went home, was doing some things, and was like, on my way back out, I'm going to vote. And so I went in, got right in, waited no time. Really? And they're like, oh, this is super crazy. We've had the longest waits. And then I was like 30 minutes back home. And when I went to leave again to go to practice last night in Saudi at about 5:15, you couldn't even drive down Diefenbaker. There was cars everywhere. I bet there was 200-ish people lined up outside. Yeah. So I think that's really good. But then when you look at the numbers, we're still at like 25% voted in Regina. So it's such a low voter turnout that if we could consistently get more voters out, it'd have to probably create some more polling stations.
Yeah, I don't think it's an exact science, and I think they're obviously learning from every election that they go through. Colson, where did you vote, and how was the line?
St. Gabriel's School in the east, and long.
Yeah,
I didn't keep track.
But you toughed it out?
Yeah, civic duty, you gotta.
Yeah, I know a lot of people they showed up to the lines, and because I went in the morning, and that's what I did. I was like, oh, I didn't plan for this. I'm gonna have to come back at the Comfort Inn and Suites. Is that what it is? Yeah, and then the breakfast was buzzing in the morning too. It's hard not to try and sneak in a little scrambled egg sausage there, but yeah, Chad Baczynski, if you're in Regina, he is our new mayor. Congratulations, young feller. Everyone speaks very highly of him. I'm sure there are some people that have something to say, but the one thing that stuck out for me in his platform, because my wife was going down the rabbit hole last night on everything, was he is all for 24-hour work on like roads. Let's say Ring Road. He's like 24 hours, and I'm like, forever I've always said that. It's like you go to any other major city, and I know sometimes if you go like to Phoenix or whatever, they do it because of a heat thing. Like if you're there in August and July, if you've ever been there or lived there, they just can't work outside when it's hot. But they put the lights up, like Las Vegas. Most people have been to Vegas, right? You see the lights up. They're working around the clock. So that was the one thing that stood out to me about him. Not to say that I voted for him. I'm not going to get into all that, but just congratulations to him. To everybody, I know Moose Jaw's got a new mayor. Longstanding mayor there is out. Prince Albert as well. The gentleman that was in there. And then Saskatoon has their first ever female mayor, Cynthia Block, former CTV news host. Everybody in my demographic will remember her reading news. CTV for a long time, so now she's the new mayor there. I think she was a Liberal MP as well, so a little bit of a background. Yeah, so that's your civic election update brought to you by. Elsewhere, okay, so back to the Grey Cup awards tonight. Arash Madani is going to join us in hour 2, and he's going to want to talk about the awards, what he's thinking. He's going to tell us, maybe give us a little bit of insight on how he voted. But Coach Mace is there, obviously Coach of the Year. We would all say in Rider Nation he should be. He did talk about it, and he says though you can just tell by this clip here how pissed off he is that the whole team's not there.
It's cool just seeing your vision of what you want it to look like, and to be able to do that with people that you care about and you trust.
And then go to the next one.
Really to receive it on behalf of everybody, man. Like I don't believe in a Coach of the Year. There's so much that goes into even putting a practice together, so, but it'd be awesome to celebrate that with the organization. Yeah.
And he does go on and talk about how he wishes everybody was there, and obviously, yeah, that would mean you're in the Grey Cup. But I don't know. You coach a lot, mind you, hockey, but you've been around soccer. I'm sure you've been around football coaches and all that. Professional level, first year head coach, Mark Mueller, first year as an offensive coordinator, everything. Like, what kind of grade would you give them as a coach that has to deal with a lot of different things?
Yeah, and I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, Barney. I was super impressed this year. We talked about before the season. I reminisced to that when they talked about when Corey Mace came in originally as the coach, and they were talking about the fact that he was one of the guys, and he was in the room and playing ping pong and stuff like that, and he was true to himself the whole season. And that, to me, is the most impressive part of it. Was they had some downtime throughout the middle of the season. He never really changed who he was, and you would have liked to have seen him rewarded. It would have been a great story for them to be in the Grey Cup this weekend and to win the Grey Cup this weekend in his first year. But I think by all accounts, like, it's just so much growth this year, so much change in just the culture of what you saw with the Riders from previous years, and it makes those in Rider Nation, I think, very excited for what next year could look like as they sort of start to tinker with, a few of the position situations that exist. And all to say, as I understand it, the offensive line was so beaten and battered all season that they were able to shuffle guys in and out without huge differences in performance. So I I would be remiss not to give him, the full 5-star review on a first season in terms of just, knocking down a little bit of the chaos too. The last few years of the Riders has just been so chaotic, in my opinion, and the fact that this season sort of went off without a hitch, and it allows, especially Craig Reynolds and those people to be able to focus on just building back Rider Nation as opposed to, being stopped at the grocery store and at the gas station with all the issues in the football operations department.
It's like anybody out there, right? That's running a business. If you're running a plumbing company, you have, if you got the guys out there on your team or out in the field, that you don't have to worry about them getting in that furnace or that air conditioner or doing that job. And then you can just kind of settle in on maybe the marketing side of it. Maybe it's the payroll side of it, whatever. You can worry about that. You don't have to worry about having some, absolute dumpster fires that are going to cause, you got headaches there and headaches there. Jeremy O'Day, yeah, you would think that he's like, okay, now we can focus on some of this other things, and Reynolds as well. And for Coach Mace, like you brought up, like Edwin Harrison, offensive line coach. I hope all the coaches are back next year. I know life changes, things change, for right now, and if Dave Thomas is listening, he'd probably have a better idea. You hope they're all back, as they say, they're going to run it back along with the teams. Logan Furland also up for an award tonight. Of course, he should be. Played every position on the offensive line except for left tackle. What did they go through? 13 offensive linemen, something like that. So Furland, local boy, all that. So talking about running it back, he had a presser earlier today or last night, and he talks about that he wants the whole shooting match back.
I want everyone back that we have. We had something special this year that we haven't had for an extremely long time since I've been there. I've never seen a close-knit group like that. I want everyone back, including Trevor. So, if you're on the team and you hear that from one of the leaders, offensive line, again, to your point, right? That kind of stuff wasn't said last year.
No, it definitely wasn't. And the interesting thing with the CFL, and I'm not going to pretend to be a savant of salary cap and things like that, but I feel like the Riders are in a position that if Corey Mason and J.O. agree, there's no reason for these guys to not be back. It's not as though they're building like in other sports where, somebody's got to go and it's, the end of the line. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I just feel like they're in a position that, as I noted, the chaos has calmed down a little bit. And now it's time to just plug those holes. I was reading about the opportunity that exists to have a game changer offensively. Those players are out there just taking advantage of those opportunities. And the other factor that's just not talked about enough, in my opinion, is the health of AJ Ouellette all season. Mm-hmm. He was brought in to be that guy, to be that game changer, and was very just hit and miss in terms of his availability to the team, which made it a lot harder, I think, to build an identity and to build an offensive structure that could just, ground and pound. And Hickson, was super important to the offense. But if they could ever get to a point where they had all their horses going, I think it would have been a very impressive thing to see.
Part of me, just as a fan and watching and seeing how everything happened and AJ Ouellette, and you go back to like the July and the August runs, that he, it just, the hips, and I think that was the injury that kept him out. It just seems, I don't know, like he's going to want to be back. He's obviously a competitor. Look how he runs. Like, you don't have to look any further than that. Will his body let him come back for another full season? Is he going to be going through things this offseason? Maybe he's already gone to see specialists where, maybe there is a surgery involved. Maybe somebody does say, hey, you should really look at packing it in. I don't know. But he is so physical, and it'll be so demanding on the body. It's almost like when I talked to Arash about Derrick Henry with the Baltimore Ravens. And you see it in basketball more than any other sport where there's load management. Like it's almost like you got to find a spot in the season where you can sit guys down, like AJ, or maybe it is a Micah Johnson, maybe it is a Trevor Harris. And I know it doesn't happen in football, and it's kind of a weird outside of the box way of thinking, but the Baltimore Ravens, I don't know if they will succeed based on the fact that their guys are going to be so banged up come the end of the season, and the toll that the NFL regular season puts on a body and on a player, and it's not that different in the CFL. So will AJ be back? Will his body let him be back? I think, as we heard from Furland, everybody wants to come back, run it back. Special things going on. If you got any comments, always on the show. What do you think? Would you like to see everybody back? Maybe some people don't want to, have the whole team back. Capital Ford Lincoln text line 306-936-6262. We're going to be talking Mitchell Bowl a lot today as well. We got head coach of the U of R Rams, Mark McConkey, coming up. Like I said, offensive lineman Parker Hodel later. If you're going to the game, good on you. If you can't, we got it here, 1:30 pregame show. Brennan McGuire's got the play-by-play at 2 p.m. on 620 CKRM. Tickets are reasonable. $75. You get into the AGT. You can get your eat on there. 5 and under free. $20 for regular tickets. And they have the corporate package where it's 100 tickets for $1,000. Nice. So a lot of corporations out there jumping on that. It's going to be a decent day weather-wise. But we do have 2 tickets to give away today to the Mitchell Bowl. And throughout the day, just any text message that comes in, anyone that's chiming in on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line at 936-6262. I almost forgot the number. Canada, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. Yeah, let it talk Mitchell Bowl, talk about the Riders. And when we come back from this break, we are going to talk about 20 years ago. And I know we had it on social media, and some people are like, why are you doing this? But we are going to relive it. It's been 20 years since one of the epic fails in Rider Nation history. Still hard to believe that it happened. It is the all-new Sports Cage, streaming on YouTube through our homepage. Visit it, sportscage.com.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op, proud supporter of our community with over 500 donations to local charities and nonprofits annually.
Harvard Media really appreciates local businesses. We know you do too, and that's why we're giving away a $50 gift card to a local restaurant right here in Regina. We have a great line of local restaurants lined up, like Bar Willow Eatery, Tommy's Speak Eatery, Lakeshore Restaurant, and Schmitty's Smoked Meats and Catering. These restaurants are great for business lunches, casual get-togethers, or just to go out. All have dine-in or pick-up options. Visit their websites for their latest menus and hours, and tune into our radio stations to find out how to win.
What type of vehicle should you use for a fall hayride?
I bet you're going to be punny.
An automobile?
Ugh. Whatever type of vehicle you drive, fuel up at Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
As a member, fueling up means
sharing in the equity.
Buy a car wash or some snacks from the C-store.
It's like putting money in the bank.
You better believe it.
Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
It all started with a magic show in the garage.
I'll now pull a rabbit out of my hat.
It all went downhill from there when the magician, instead of a rabbit, pulled a rat out of his hat.
Oh my, run kiddos, run!
Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door. They've got some magic of their own.
Benson, has anyone seen a rabbit?
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
What a playoff run. The Regina Rams are champions of the 87th Hardy Cup after an exciting 19-14 win over their rival, the Saskatchewan Huskies. The University of Regina Rams will be hosting the Mitchell Bowl, the U Sports National semifinal football game this weekend at Mosaic Stadium. The Rams will kick off against Laval this Saturday at 2 p.m. Get your tickets today at reginarams.com. And let's show everyone why Regina is the best city to catch a game. It's football time. Go Rams!
Grey Cup Sunday. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will play the Toronto Argonauts for the 111th Grey Cup in Vancouver. The all-new Sportscage has the best game day coverage in the CFL. It all starts with countdown to kickoff at 1, the Grey Cup pregame show at 3, and kickoff at 5:30. Don't miss a minute of the action. The 2024 Grey Cup on the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rough Rider Radio Network.
Whether Smokey's after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
Choose your prize or take the cash. It's the Leroy Leisure Lotto. Grand prize is your choice of leisure package. Choose your truck, camper, and recreation vehicle or take the $130,000 cash, plus 30 bonus draws and the 50-50 add-on. Deadline to purchase your tickets is Friday, November 22nd at 8 p.m. All draws made Saturday night, November 23rd. No early bird, no second chance, just more chances to win. Call 1-866-925-3769 or visit Leroy.ca.
Lotto license LR240096.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Barney Shinkaruk and Kellen Enslev here today. We are going to be joined by offensive line coach from the British Columbia Lions, like I said, former U of S Husky, Kelly Bates, in a bit here. Tickets to the game. Matt Young, who's kind of the ticket guy on Twitter, does a great job, CTV reporter. There was over 4,000 left at last check for the Grey Cup game Sunday. Surprising to you, or without the Lions there? Mind you, Winnipeg travels well. Toronto, you're from the East. Toronto would have their diehards, but I can't see them really bringing them in.
Yes, historically, Toronto has not really traveled. And before I moved out to Saskatchewan back in 2014, I went to the East Final that ended up as Hamilton coming to the 2013 Grey Cup.
Was that at the BMO or whatever they call it?
Skydome.
Oh, Skydome.
Which was Rogers Center. It was it's a weird place to watch football, for sure, in terms of the way that the play comes at you. But yeah, it was funny because, I wasn't really super invested in the CFL at that time and was working for Montreal's farm team in the American League, and we had some shared staff between the Tiger Cats and the Bulldogs, so we all went down to Toronto and went to the game, and then I almost got on a charter to come out to the Grey Cup, and then fast forward 10 months and I lived here full time. So had we been able to get back from Montreal, we were playing an American League game at the Bell Center, and we needed to sort of leave straight from the game to come back to Hamilton if we were going to take the Tiger Cat staff charter. So I didn't end up coming, but funny enough, all to say, no, I wouldn't expect a lot of Argo fans in BC.
Yeah, again, that's something I'm curious what people think out there.
Plus Taylor Swift's in Toronto this weekend.
Yeah, well, then Taylor Swift's in Vancouver in a couple weeks, buzzing around. Yeah, no, there'd be a lot of people going. How many? 2 shows? Is she doing 3? 2 or 3 shows?
Yeah, I think so.
She's not playing at BMO. She's at Rogers or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The people think if the Riders were there, would it be a sellout? Like, we were talking about it. I know it's kind of salt in the wounds a little bit for people, but how many people were going to be driving? Flights were ridiculous as it is. And then there's only so many birds flying from here. I don't think the airlines would have added any extra planes to go that way, but a lot of people would have been driving. How would it have went down? Can we play the clip? I know you guys are working on some issues here. 20 years ago, we want to talk about it. I'm waiting for Colson to say it is okay. Colson and Curtis, we're good? Okay. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, this is 20 years ago today. Okay, there's no audio. It's Paul McCallum.
17-yard line. Make it the 18. Hits it hard. And wide! You know what, Mark? I was thinking that the whole time. He's on that left hash. It's a tough angle. I mean, you think 17 yards, chip shot. It's just not the case with that bad angle from the left hash. Wide from the 18.
So the question becomes, so we were solving this on the break. So that was a single. A Rouge.
Yes.
And then BC comes down and gets a field goal. So the question becomes, if he makes that field goal, is it a walk-off in 2004? Or was BC getting the ball back regardless?
Yeah, see, that
we'll have to ask Kelly.
Trying to remember. But if you go back, and then it's BC's kicker. Oh, man. Oh, what's his name? He puts it in...
Duncan Mahoney?
Yeah. He drills it from like his distance. We miss it at 18 yards. Anybody out there does not care about the angle. So he's kicking this. What does it say on your stat sheet?
40 yards?
Yeah. It's about 40 yards.
From the Molson Export? No, Tim Hortons?
And he is somewhat right down the pipe. That's the win. They win by 2. Wally Bueno, hands in the air. Oh. It's 20 years. It seems a long, for me. I remember thinking, oh boy, living in Saskatoon, and a lot of people I know are going to chime in here and talk about what happened after that and the repercussions, and some idiots took on Paul's house. But that was, it was tough, and it's 20 years ago today. We're good to go. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza, if you're thinking about something catering your Christmas party or holiday season party, call your local Western Pizza. They can get you hooked up. He joined us, couple months ago now, from Humboldt, Saskatchewan, now residing out there on the West Coast. Kelly Bates joining us. Kelly, we're going through that 20 years ago. You were in that game. You don't be afraid. Hey, we gotta reconcile it, let it go as Rider fans. What do you remember about that?
Well, it was a crazy game. It was back and forth. We had, trying to think. We played them the last game of the year in BC Place, and there was 54,000 at that game, I think. 54. It might even been sold out at 59. I can't remember. But it was so loud, and it was loud both ways because of how many Rider fans were there. And we sort of had a feeling that's who we were going to see 2 weeks later. And, the game was back and forth. What I remember is not really understanding what had just happened when Paul missed the kick. And we went out onto the field, and you're still taking the ball over at the 35-yard line, and we ran 2 run plays and got nowhere. And all of a sudden you realize, I think we got maybe 2 yards, and I think it was, I think it's what you said. I think it was a 40-yard field goal, and it was Duncan O'Mahony, and you're thinking, oh my God, this is a 40-yard field goal. If he doesn't hit this, it's not going through the end zone. We lose this. And it went from, jubilation to like, all we got to do is go score a point, to all of a sudden, crap, we've not done what we're supposed to do, and now our kicker's got to hit it from 40 to put us into the Grey Cup.
What was that? You've been around football a long time, like even you go back to high school days and all that. Have you ever seen a bigger kick missed that you're involved in the game?
Oh boy, that just goes and picks on kickers, because that puts, again, kickers. It's a tough job, man, because people, when you lose a game like that, and I'm sure Paul's teammates would say the same thing, and having Paul as a teammate of mine for so long, I'll say the same thing. Yeah, they get the glory when they hit that kick, but when they don't hit that kick, you didn't lose the game because of that kick. I mean, there's so many things that happened before it. And we missed a kick. I don't want to say I was on the 6th game in Winnipeg in 2009. I was actually coaching with the Huskies, and we missed a 30-yard field goal to put us into the national semifinal. I mean, that's tough. And that guy went on to kick many years in the CFL, a very good kicker. I've been blessed to have such great kickers. Like I said, Paul most of my career, Matt Kellett at the U of S. That's a tough one. It's tough. It's just tough at any time in that situation. And I mean, again, it shows you how emotional this sport is and the way people reacted back home, and the stuff that he had to deal with, and really the repercussions and the fallout from the person that did what they did, even though they did it at the wrong house, and what happened to their life and how they were affected. It's sad when things like that boil over like that. It really is.
I know we talked during the season, for the Lions, not the way you guys wanted it to end. Obviously, you guys come here, you ran into an extremely hot Saskatchewan team. How do you assess the year for you guys as a group? There was a lot of noise, right? When Rourke came in, and the media kind of took care of that. But as a team, when you kind of have your retrospect and sit down with the coaches, how do you assess things, Kelly?
It was very up and down. Our year was, I mean, you talk about when Rourke came in, but that wasn't until halfway through the year. I mean, we'd lost the first game of the year and then won the next 5 games and then lost the next 5 games. And that's really what our season was like all year, and trying to find that consistency and a lot of factors. I mean, every team deals with it. Injuries were unlike what I'd seen before in my experience as a coach, what we dealt with that, but all teams deal with it. And just, when I speak about injuries from just on the offensive side of the ball and how that changes and how you game plan, and really not getting all those guys back until that final game in Sask. And if I sit here and break that game down and know that we missed a couple of home runs that should have been, should have changed the way the game went, that's the nature of football. And I think obviously not where we wanted to be. 9-9 team coming back from 2 years of 12-6, definitely not where we need to be, not good enough. And at this point in time, just hoping that we get the chance to try and rectify that next year.
Do you go back your years playing? You've coached for a number of years as well, where there was that much parity on both sides, East and West. It seemed like it didn't matter how far a team was traveling, you had to be on your toes because team was coming in, they could beat you. The league was unreal parity wise.
I mean, we beat Montreal twice, and I mean they won the East outright with 3-4 weeks to go. And we went into Montreal and won there. I go back to maybe the 2005 year. We started out 11-0 and finished 12-6, but there were, even the 2004 year, there were multiple teams that finished with the same record or close to the same record, with wins and losses against opponents determining who went where for the playoffs. And that's a good thing for the CFL. It's a very good thing for the CFL. And I think you're starting to see, the replenishment of quarterbacks, young, good quarterbacks coming back into this league. And I mean, really, that's the bloodline of what we do. Parity is always a good thing from a fan's perspective, but at the end of the day, we still get measured by wins and losses I don't want to say in a transactional world, we get measured by wins and losses, and that makes it tough at times. But I do feel we're building in the right direction because of the transformational relationships we have with our players and the people in that organization. So I still feel we're going in the right way. We've hit a big bump in the road, and we have to rectify it.
We talked yesterday on the show, it was Harry and I, and we kind of went down the rabbit hole of CFL expansion. And, people, when you start talking about that, people go, wow, we need a team here. We need a team in Okanagan. We need a team in, I truly believe Quebec City for me, would be a great fit. You'd have the instant rivalry and the hatred there. They don't have the stadium. Explain your owner to people in Sask here, Omar Doman. Glen Suitor always talks about him, really high on him. Look behind the curtain. What kind of guy are you dealing with there?
Well, we don't get to deal with him very much in terms of can we see him on picture day, but that's because he's a busy man. But I'll tell you where you get to see what he does, and I'll break it down into two different distinctive areas. First, when I turn around and look in the stands, I now see young fans back in the stands, and I think that's directly related to his commitment to grassroots football. I mean, his kids play flag football in the North Shore. Their coach is an old UBC player that I played against. I mean, that community is getting rebuilt and the connections are being made again. And I love that part of it. So he's committed the money to bring in that young fan base and to grow the game. And that's important, that connection to your community. And then secondly, I mean, we had, like I said, so much injury issue this year, things that aren't common. And, we never felt like we were in a position where our guy said, no, we can't do that because of money. I'd say, whatever you need, we got to do it. And that's a pretty nice feeling knowing when you have that type of backup, because it hasn't always been like that.
Another big, thing that we're talking about actually today, I don't think it was around when you played. Maybe you wish there was marketing money around when you played. What would Kelly Bates have been good at?
Absolutely nothing. But yeah, no, it started to come in right at the end of my career. I got a couple of those nice little envelopes, and you're like, oh, I like this. I like marketing. But hey, I'm all for the players, and having been there, I love the way things are moving and where they're moving to. Guaranteed money. In some instances, I mean, it can't be the Wild West, and you still need accountability, but we're moving in the right direction, and really making the people that make our game, the people that are the game, the players, the most important aspect. So that's a great thing.
Very, it reeks of Sasky senior hockey. Little envelope in your stall, right? Something like that.
The gas and absolutely.
The Drake Canucks have it's awesome. Mitchell Bowl is here Saturday. U of R Rams, a team that hasn't been there all that much, right? Small school. You're a U of S guy. I remember covering you guys and Brian Towers and just the legend of that. When you go back to the 1998 Vanier Cup win against Concordia with Towers head coaching, Matt Kellett, right, gets you guys on the board early with a 28-yard field goal. How special was that, and what these kids are going through right now at the U of R up against the power from Laval?
Yeah, it's going to be quite the experience. We got to play the 99 Church Bowl in Laval, and that was our first experience, going there and having, walking through the stands, the makeshift stands out on the field, being pelted by phone books and effigies of Husky stuffies behind us, hanging from a noose. I mean, it was a whole new world, and it was awesome. I loved it. I mean, university football is growing and going in the right direction, and you see that in Canada through and through, both from the production of players and talent and just the fact that we're talking about it right here. But it's going to be a tough game, and Laval's come in and obviously beat the U of S in the Vanier in 06, and they've had their great experiences out here on the coast. But I'm definitely I don't want to get into too much trouble, but I'm definitely cheering for Canada West and want the Rams to come out on top.
Yeah, I think I was talking to a couple old Huskies, and they were saying the same thing. I had Frank McChrystal on the show, lucky enough, a couple weeks ago. When you think of Sasky football, right? You think of Brian Towers, you think of Frank McChrystal, and now Sarge in there as well. What was Towers like? Like, what made him so good?
Great players, no. It was, what I think what I appreciated about Brian was, and really what I came to appreciate about Wally and having those types of coaches, is the consistency with what they do things. And with consistency comes, a a level of expectation that is consistent. You know where you stand at all times. You know what's expected of you, both on and off the field. And I've always enjoyed when I play for a guy that's pretty level-headed. Again, can't always say I've been level-headed, but I appreciate when I play for guys that are level-headed because, you know, in that game, you can't be too high, you can't be too low. You've got to be able to make, you know, quick decisions at breakneck speeds, and you have to have your wits about you. And those guys to me are those coaches. They personify that, and BT personified that through and through. Very consistent and set expectations. You knew where you stood. You knew what was expected.
Taking in any of the festivities this week out there with the Grey Cup? Maybe a little zip line?
Yeah, I think not a chance in hell, but I am going to take my 11-year-old down there tomorrow. My 14-year-old is much too cool to come with me, but my 11-year-old is going to come down, and we're going to take in some festivities tomorrow during the day. I think the 11-year-old bought into it when she knew she got to miss school, so we're good.
We have the same split. I got an 11 and 13-year-old. The 13-year-old boy would be too cool. The girl would be all over it. Hey, it's always a pleasure. Nice to catch up, Kelly. Thanks so much for doing this, and we'll have to catch up again somewhere along this winter.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Right on. That is offensive line coach from the BC Lions, Kelly Bates, from Humboldt, Saskatchewan, former U of S Husky, of course, with the Blue Bombers and the Riders as well. I forget, we got to ask him. Yeah, he broke the Grey Cup with Winnipeg. That infamous breaking of the Grey Cup. I was just ask him on that. But yeah, no, absolute beauty. You can just tell Sasky gentleman through and through. We'll take a quick break. It is the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
The next item up for auction is entry to the Canadian Western Exhibition. We'll open up the bidding at $25. $25. Who will give me 20? $20 bid, 20. Do I hear $10 bid? Who will give me $10? Who will give me $0? $0 bid, $0. Going once, $0 going twice. Sold for $0.
Connexus members get free entry to the Canadian Western Exhibition. Pick up your multi-day pass at any Connexus branch.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Margaret had questions, she talked to Brian Golly.
We have been with Brian right from when the tax-free savings account came into being. He gave us very solid advice.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone. Call Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions. 306-546-2533.
I would not hesitate to recommend him to friend, relative, or anybody else.
Uh-oh, the power's out and the lights are gone. It's dark. What do you do? If you had a standby generator from Shorty Generators, you could just keep doing whatever you want. Keep the power flowing all the time with Shorty Generators. They offer the largest selection of generators in Saskatchewan with all the major standby generator brands like Generac, Kohler, Champion, Cummins, and Briggs & Stratton. They can have it installed in your home so you'll never have to wonder what to do when the power goes out again. ShortyGenerators.ca.
This holiday season, experience the magic of Santa's Wonderland at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Bring the kids and get a free 4x6 photo and shareable video with Santa Claus. Reservations can be made 7 days in advance. See online for more details.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
People are chiming in. Thank you very much on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Six Taylor Swift shows in Toronto?
I thought it was over 2 weekends. Yeah, it's wild. And I was just wondering,
what's a ticket going for?
Unlimited. Jeez. But I was wondering, like you were just talking about it, the amount of money that those tickets are reselling for. If you're in Toronto and you're a Argos fan, like you could just Airbnb your house this weekend and probably pay for your whole trip to the Grey Cup just by Airbnb-ing your house during the Taylor Swift weekend.
If you're anywhere near the Rogers Center. Okay, so here's her twirl. Starting tonight, 7 p.m. Then she goes tomorrow, then Saturday, and then, next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that is your six-pack. Out in the big smoke.
She doesn't play Sunday shows, so she can go wherever Travis is.
Oh, yeah. Watch them lose.
Rest her voice.
Watch them lose
In
this
Buffalo.
week.
Is she in Buffalo?
I think it has been Buffalo, isn't it?
That's convenient to be in Toronto and Buffalo. You don't even have to fly. She will.
I got a rental. I'm going to pick up a rental. I got a Ford Edge. Got a good deal.
Compact.
Head over the falls.
Compact.
Yeah, or when you rent and it's like the mystery car.
Yeah.
Come on, there's a truck sitting right there. No, we're giving you this Sonata.
You click, we choose.
And then Vancouver. That's December 6th, 7th, and 8th. So there's a couple week gap in there. Gabby and Mrs. S are going to the Friday show. So that's the third last stop on the whole tour.
I heard that rumor that Gabby and Mrs. S were going during the Westridge Female Challenge tournament.
Change their flights just to come back to play U11 hockey.
13 now.
U13 hockey.
She's U13 now, Dad.
But yes, stay in Van City for the weekend. Let your hair down, girls. No, but they want to get back to play hockey. So yeah, so if anyone's going to the what about ticket? Anything about tickets? Resale value? Coulson?
$2,000, $2,500. That's in the upper bowl.
2,500.
Yeah.
And the upper bowl in the Rogers Center to watch a concert is like the equivalent of sitting at Old Taylor Field.
Yeah.
To watch
something at Viet Thai.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say who are the guys in the track suits? Fog Dog. Like watching Fog Dog at halftime at New Mosaic from Old Taylor Field. That would be how it would look.
Is it that bad? I'm still call it the Sky Dome, just like I like calling it Sask Place in Saskatoon. Watched a Vanier Cup there from the restaurant. That was one of the best ideas we had. We sat there, guzzled gin, ate, watched the Vanier, and then the next day was the Grey Cup. It was Toronto. Was it Toronto, Calgary? To make it interesting, we had to gamble. Like I had no, and sleeping one off. But it was, I didn't remember it being that, I guess I wasn't at the top level.
Yeah. And something you just mentioned, I'm just curious of when we talk about like CFL marketing, but do you think that the Vanier Cup loses some level of allure now that it doesn't go back to back in the same place as the Grey Cup? It's probably better for the fan following in terms of like the experience, but the benefit that the athletes got of being part of that Grey Cup celebration in the past, it's sort of a bit of a give and take from a marketing standpoint.
I would like to know the reasoning, because there would be a lot of pros and cons to both. Talking about going out in the Capital Ford Lincoln text line about the question on running it back with who we got for riders. Our friend DA chimes in and says, we were the 4th or 5th best team in the league this year. Why would we run it back again? Because the Chiefs were the 4th and 5th best the one year, and they basically ran it back. But I get it. Yeah, and I'm sure there will be some changes. Like it's not a peewee team in a small town where you can just say, everyone's back next year. No, there will be some changes. Very curious on which ones. I hope the coaching staff, from what I know, and from interviewing almost all of them this year, like seem like great guys. They were all cohesive under Coach Mace. Keep the current offense and rearrange the current defense. Sent in no name. Might be Liam out in Vibank. Hey, Liam. Love the Vibank barn. No Wi-Fi, though. Those are long practices for parents sitting in the Vibank barn. You got to go out to your vehicle. Watch. If you go on a Thursday night, try and watch Thursday night football, you got to sit in your car. Wayne from Regina, he says, I would like the majority of riders back. We got a couple more people saying that same thing. So anyone that texts in today got a chance to win those 2 tickets to the Mitchell Bowl Saturday at Mosaic Stadium between the U of R Rams and Laval Rouge. Laval probably landed here just momentarily. What are you thinking about that game? What do you like? So when you think Laval and college football, what comes to mind?
Well, the thing is, when we talk about Canadian football, for me growing up, my dad is a Laurier grad. So I had a good conversation today with Mike Thomas from Football Saskatchewan, and I know he was in last week talking before the Hardy Bowl and with Brendan Bennett, and they were saying, this weekend's game obviously is super important, but whomever wins tomorrow or Saturday rather, like they're in for something they haven't seen all year when they get into the OUA. They said the AUS is like having a bye. Whoever plays them every year, like they're not competitive, the teams from the East Coast. So hopefully there's a big surprise and that team upsets Laurier tomorrow. But Laval's always just been so good, and they're a factory. They're just something that they carry that level of allure, like we talk about the way that, when I was growing up, the Western Mustangs did from London. Like they always were just good. And my sister went there, and I can remember going to the first Laurier Western game, and they score a touchdown, and there's like an older man on a live horse, like racing the track, like around the track to celebrate in the way that Gaynor rides on his golf cart here. But it's just sometimes we have the benefit of them coming into Saskatchewan here, but sometimes those teams, like you're already down by a field goal or a touchdown in your mind before they even kick the game off, just because of the atmosphere, like Kelly talked about.
Well, and the Huskies were like that too, right? They were the big power in the West for a lot of years. So still more to come. We are an hour in the books. Coming up in hour 2, Arash Madani is going to join us from Van City, and also U of R Rams head coach Mark McConkey. It is the all-new Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com, and as always on the home of the U of R Rams, 620 CKRM.
This is Country Gold with Steve Harmon, your home for the country hits of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Hello, I'm Steve Harmon, inviting you to join me for Country Gold. Each week we play country favorites from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and we check in with the stars who made them too. This weekend on Country Gold.
Country Gold, brought to you by Trent Dickin and his experienced team at Flooring Superstore. Saturday mornings at 6 and Sunday afternoons at 4 on the Voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Year-end clearance is happening right now at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We are clearing the lot to make room for new inventory, which means crazy clearance prices on remaining new 2023 and 2024 vehicles. Up to $20,000 off, and you can drive away with $0 down, and you don't have to pay until 2025. We have over 200 new vehicles to choose from, including the Jeep Grand Cherokee and the entire Ram truck lineup. Do not miss year-end clearance at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
What a playoff run! The Regina Rams are champions of the 87th Hardy Cup after an exciting 1914 win over their rival, the Saskatchewan Huskies. The University of Regina Rams will be hosting the Mitchell Bowl, the U Sports National semifinal football game this weekend at Mosaic Stadium. The Rams will kick off against Laval this Saturday at 2 p.m. Get your tickets today at reginarams.com. And let's show everyone why Regina is the best city to catch a game. It's football time. Go Rams!
Looking for a way to relax after a long day?
Come on.
Tired of being notified by life's bells and whistles?
Yeah, I'm gonna need that draft tomorrow.
When you're ready to stop working so hard, you know it's time to play. Yes. It's easy to find your next favorite game at Bodog.net. Play free casino games, check out our beginner's guides, and get poker tips. Visit Bodog.net today. #Make a play.
Your Crawford's No Frills is here for you as the weather gets cooler and warm meals are being served around the family table. Crawford's No Frills considers themselves to be family, which explains their low prices. You wouldn't overcharge family, would you? The Crawford's No Frills family have great tasting quality food, special deals, and customers. So visit and plan your next family meal at No Frills. No bells, no whistles, no frills. Say yes to Crawford's No Frills. We won't be beat.
The all-new Sportscage, the voice of the Regina Rams, is proud to present the U Sports National Semifinal, the 2024 Mitchell Bowl. Saturday, the Rams will take on the Laval Rouge et Or at Mosaic Stadium. The winner moves on to play for a national championship in the Vanier Cup. Our game day coverage starts with a pregame show at 1:30, kickoff at 2. Regina Rams football on the voice of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
The Sask Sport Athlete of the Month Award celebrates outstanding performances in a given month by a Saskatchewan athlete or team. After achieving a perfect score on 3 dives and setting a provincial record at the 2024 Junior Elite National Championships, Cash Tarasoff was awarded July Athlete of the Month. In June, rugby player Carissa Norston was named the 2024 HSBC SVNS Women's Rookie of the Year and earned Athlete of the Month. To learn more and to nominate an athlete or team, visit sasksport.ca.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. It's mostly cloudy and it's 8 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op. Proud supporter of our community with over 500 donations to local charities and nonprofits annually, and by Mercedes-Benz Regina for those who can. Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. The Agricultural Producers Association of Saskatchewan welcomes the federal government's intervention to end labor disputes at the ports in BC and Montreal. The president of APAS, Ian Boxall, says the latest disruption speaks to a much larger problem.
Seems like a lot this year, and I think it has been with, rail and port workers and dock workers and all of that. And I think there's an avenue here where we can have a long-term fix so that our supply chain works seamlessly for all of Canada, because it is an essential service.
Boxall acknowledged the rights unions and employers have in collective bargaining, but said there needs to be a solution to the constant disruption to the supply chain. A flag-raising ceremony for Palestine will not be going ahead in the city of Regina. Outgoing Mayor Sandra Masters said the ceremony will not proceed. The city announced late this afternoon. The city did not give a reason. The Jolly Old Elf will be making an appearance in the Queen City this weekend for the annual Santa Claus Parade. Santa will be part of the fun on Sunday. Parade organizer Tyler Nibbs is with Wheaton Kia in Regina.
Yeah, we took over in 2018. We brought it back, and it's been awesome, growing ever since, bigger every year. Yeah, we're super excited for this year as well. It's meant to be the biggest parade we've had yet.
Sunday's Santa Claus Parade starts at noon and will run along North Albert from Avonhurst to the Northgate Mall. The Saskatchewan RCMP's Swift Current Trafficking Response Team seized 31 firearms in La Flèche last Friday as part of an investigation. Officers, along with other police units, searched a home and a rural yard site near the town. The firearms, many loaded or unsafely stored, were confiscated along with ammunition, prohibited devices, and a small amount of psilocybin. They also recovered a stolen vehicle. 2 adults, a 46-year-old male and a 38-year-old female, both from La Flèche, were arrested and charged with multiple firearms and possession offenses. Both are scheduled for court appearances in December and January. And Landman premieres Sunday on Paramount+. Actor Billy Bob Thornton says Landman deals with landowners' rights, fossil fuels, and greed, but it's not meant to push the viewer into thinking one way or another.
This is not a political show. This and should not be politicized, because it doesn't have a pro-oil or an anti-oil agenda. It's simply about these people, and here's how it works. And so whatever is going on in the world, we may have our own views politically, but this show doesn't affect those views because it's not about any of that stuff.
That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
The luxury of Mercedes-Benz has never been more within reach with the fall demo event at Mercedes-Benz Regina. Save up to $32,000 on select models like the luxurious EQE 350. Get the premium performance and elegance Mercedes-Benz is known for, but with unmatched value when you choose certified pre-owned. Take advantage of the opportunity to experience the Mercedes-Benz you've always dreamed of, without compromise. Book your test drive at Mercedes-Benz Regina.
What type of vehicle should you use for a fall hayride?
I bet you're going to be punny.
An automobile?
Ugh. Whatever type of vehicle you drive, fuel up at Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
As a member, fueling up means
sharing in the equity.
Buy a car wash or some snacks from the C-store.
It's like putting money in the bank.
You better believe it.
Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialist in Grenfell, servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. Tonight, gradual clearing and a low of -2. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny and a high of 5. Saturday, periods of light wet snow, up to 2 centimeters possible, and a high of +1. And on Sunday, mostly sunny and a high of 3. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's cloudy. Winds are from the west at 28 and it's 10 degrees. Regina is mostly cloudy. Winds are from the south at 19 and it's 8 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
Whether Smokey's after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Hour 2 of the show. It's Barney Schenker, Kellen Enslev, CNC Production Company, and the Sheriff, Alan, is here today as well. We are giving away 2 tickets to the Mitchell Bowl. Everyone that's texting in on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line today, 936-6262. If you want to chime in on the Riders that are getting up for awards this evening. If you want to chime in on Paul McCallum missing that 18-yard field goal 20 years ago today that we showed the video. I think Arash is going to want to talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that. What about if the Riders were in the Grey Cup? Would it be sold out? Would there be 4,000-ish tickets left? Unless that number's changed, and we can talk to Arash about it. Also coming up in this hour, though, head coach of the U of R Rams, Mark McConkey, as we get down to the nitty-gritty here for the Mitchell Bowl Saturday at Mosaic Stadium. But let's go coast to coast.
The all-new Sports Cage and Coast to Coast with Arash Madani is brought to you by Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Golly at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
I saw you. Oh, is he frozen now? Is he there? He's there. Yeah, there we go. There he is. Okay, so I saw you kind of eyebrows up, scratching your melon. What are we doing?
What are you doing? What are
to
you
Rider
doing?
fans?
Why are you bringing up those wounds? Like, really?
Hey, you know who says that about you? Randy Ambrosi. So it just it happens.
Well, but the thing is, that was 20 years ago. Like, I'm not talking about Tom Wright. Like, it's just like.
Do you want to show the video? Maybe Arash hasn't seen it. Colson's working the video here. Let's just bring it up. So, but how does he miss that? I don't care what angle you're from. I don't care if it's rugby and you're kicking it from the sidelines.
Like, how long ago this was? It was a CBC game. Like, those are CBC fonts.
Look at those jerseys. Look at the baggy jerseys.
Jerseys anywhere anymore, you know?
What are the other sponsors on there? What was that, Ponderosa?
Yeah. Colson, did you pull out your VCR to get this highlight? Oh, my God.
Right after this, there's a commercial for a Pontiac Sunfire. It's hard to believe. Hard to believe, though. They get the single point. Kellen and I deciphered it because I couldn't remember exactly how the game finished. I remember that. And then we had Kelly Bates on earlier, and he was in the game. And then he remembers how they didn't really march down the field. They sputtered down the field, and then O'Mani hit the 40-yarder to win it. So, hey, we can never get beyond that if we can't just sit and watch it and say it happened.
But I think we got beyond it in 2007 and 2013, didn't we, Barney?
Well, maybe some people. Some people are still, hey, whenever the anniversary comes up for the 14th man.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I was in the end zone at McMahon Stadium, and
13th.
The kick goes up, and immediately the flag. And the kick wasn't even through the uprights, and I just started yelling in that like media holding area. I'm like, oh my God, too many men. Oh my God, too many men.
Yeah, 13. The Sean, for play-by-play guy for the Montreal Alouettes, he came on a few weeks ago. What's that?
Sean Campbell, yeah.
Yeah, Campbell. And he told the story how he was like a young intern. And at that game, his job was to hand out the hats, the championship hats. So he started handing them out and then had to go and grab them back. He said it was one of the most awkward and difficult spots he has ever been in. And no doubt about it. Yeah, so when the anniversary of the 13th comes up, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, just to put a pin in this, I went into the home dressing room at McMahon Stadium that night. And I've been in this business for 20-ish years. I have never witnessed a scene like that. Like you had grown men crying. You had grown men punching concrete walls and blood coming out of their knuckles. You had dudes vomiting in the bathroom. I'll never forget Jeremy O'Day just sitting there, full uniform, pads, jersey still on, just staring straight ahead. Like it was every human traumatic emotion. Like the entire book was that locker room that night. It was a sight to behold, man. It's something I'll never forget.
Yeah. Tonight they're handing out awards there in Vancouver. The curious one that everyone's been talking about this year is the MOP, because there was no quarterback that was off the charts this year.
Yeah.
A lot of Saskatchewan people, had our guy that isn't there, but you had a vote. Like, where did you land on this?
So, well, my vote in the end, when I had to vote between Oliveira and Bo Levi, went to Brady. I know that Bo threw for over 5,000 yards. I just couldn't stomach making the most outstanding player in the league a guy who got benched to Labor Day. And then you think about just how important Brady's been to that offense. Two-time rushing champion. In cold weather football, he's been reliable. Week after week, he's been reliable. When the passing game wasn't really there mid-season, early in the season, Oliveira was the one who was kind of the constant. And they're not here without him. And I think there's an element of the story that goes into it too. You're talking about a hometown kid who took over for Andrew Harris. And I had a chat with him yesterday, and he said, I want to win a championship as the guy. And I'm pretty sure tonight Brady Oliveira is going to be named the league's most outstanding player. And based on the options, it's funny because I gave Milligan the vote over Oliveira for the West most outstanding player. But then when it came to Oliveira against Mitchell, I went with Brady over Bo Levi.
And I like how you said the guy that got benched in Labor Day. But Bo Levi, wow, did he have a back half to the year? Yeah.
Arash, Kellen here, and you were talking about Brady Oliveira, and I was looking at some stats, and it's interesting because, if you compare his 23 to 24, this was a down year by his standards, after having 13 touchdowns and over 2,000 all-purpose yards last year, down to 4 touchdowns this year. But he just, a two-time rushing champion, like you said, he's just so dominant. What makes him such a weapon for the Blue Bombers?
Well, I'd say this, Kellen, and I was trying to think of a comp for him in this regard, and I can't think of one. I don't know the last time the CFL's had a running back who has gained more yards after first contact. Usually you hit a running back, it slows him down, he's going to go down, whatever. Brady, that first kind of point of attack is just the starting point of his rushes. And I was talking to Jake Serezna of the Argos yesterday, and he's like, it's not just one guy, it's not just two guys. We have to be hat on a hat, almost like gang tackling him. Because every time he gets hit, he's still going forward. He's still going forward. And so when you could turn, the defense might think it's 2nd and 7, and then all of a sudden it's 2nd and 4 or 2nd and 3 because he gives you an extra lunge or two and then he falls forward. So that just sets up so many different things for your offense. And he's not a dude who likes to dance. He's not a guy who just gets to the line of scrimmage and is going to shuffle kind of left and right and look for an opening. He's just hammer meets nail. He's downhill. He's vertical. And, you put kind of all of that together, and that's why he's the weapon that he's become.
Yeah, and I think, you mentioned it, and him and Caleros, he's, Oliveira's sort of the straw that stirs the drink. But, over the last 4 or 5 weeks, they've been a totally different team, or they look to be sort of a better team. What's changed, or what's making that happen?
So I went back and I watched the last 3 games they played, and then I started asking around to both the Argos and the Blue Bombers, because I'm like, I hadn't seen this from the Bombers shoot, even through the Banjo Bowl. What they've done in the last month or so, the first 20 plays that they script, the majority of them are RPOs, a run-pass option. It's the Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson stuff. But it's not with the quarterback, it's with Oliveira. So Zach has the option, am I going to hand off or am I going to, keep the play moving with a pass? And over this stretch, guys, the majority of the time, depending on the game, it's been as many as 16 of the first 20 plays are RPOs. So that has to keep a defense honest, because they have Nick Dembski, they have Kenny Lawler, they have some not only deep threats, but they also have some, middle of the field threats. And we never really think of Zach as a scrambler, but he can run it too. Those on the stream just saw it there. So I just think the RPO has just injected so much vulnerability for a defense, and that's really helped their offense set up deep balls like the ones Lawler caught in the West Final against the Riders.
The West Final took me back to when I was 8, 9, 10 years old.
Who missed a field goal then?
Watching Tracy Ham, and then it was Doug Flutie, and it's like, well, you can't defend him. Just give him the trophy. They're doing everything right, and then if you try and stop that they're going to do this. It's such a chess match and so hard, like you said, when that RPO is going, and it's not even like a run pass, it's like a run pass. It is so hard to defend. Now, I'm at coolbet.com, going to sprinkle here, and I see now, 2 days ago we were at 10.5.
Yeah.
Now it's a 9-point underdog are the Toronto Argonauts. And I think because it's the CFL, and because it's the CFL championship game and weird things happen, minus the 2007 Super Bowl, that is a big number, but I'm going to hit that. Are you writing off the Argos? Probably not. You see them a lot. What are you seeing there?
I'm not writing them off. I find the line fascinating. It opened at 7, got to 10.5, now 9. There's been so much fluctuation. The line I actually like is Bombers team total under 30.5. It's a Winnipeg team that in the 2 games against the Argos this year combined for 25 points. So I think if the Argos are able to impose their will on offense, it means they're going to run the football a lot. So to me, here's the path to victory for the Argos. Forget offense for a minute. If you win 2/3 of the game, you can win the football game. And I mean by defense and special teams. Janarian Grant took a kickback, has taken 2 kicks back in the last 3 games. A former Winnipeg receiver. I expect Janarian to be named the special teams player of the year this year, tonight at the awards. He's a guy who can kind of tip the field and tip the scales. Like the Argos offense was struggling against Montreal. They were struggling at times late in the season. Plays like this, for those watching on the stream, if you remember the punt return for those listening, just change everything. And this is something that Toronto is shown to be capable of. So I just think that's the way. I'm with you, Barney. I think 9 points is a lot, but I think so much of this is just predicated on turnovers, man. Who's going to win and lose that turnover battle? Because a one-score game can turn into 2 or 3 in a hurry. But I think plays like these can really kind of keep the Argos in the game.
Okay, what was the bet that you liked? You sounded sharp there. I'm going to write it down. I might hit it.
Bombers team total, 30.5, 30.5. Because I think the game total is 50.5.
Yeah,
which makes sense on a 9-point spread that the Bombers would be
51 where I am on Cool Bet. So
51 now, yeah.
So 30.5 under that.
The Bombers are around 30.5, 31. I like the under there.
Okay, I like it. But the sting's still got to be there, right? Anybody that's competed and what happened last year, like Zach Collaros, like there's got to be the revenge factor. What's making him buzz right now, do you think, Arash?
It's the most comfortable in his own skin around football that I've seen Zach in the 12 years I've been around him. The other is he's got such a command of the offense and such a trust in his guys. Follow me on this one, Barney, if you can. So Zach's a dude now who pre-snap will decide, okay, my actual number one target's on the right side of the field. But I know it's going to take X amount of time for that receiver to run his route, make his break, and get open. Zach will drop back and look to his left for the majority of the time that the receiver he wants to go to on the right is running, and then he'll suddenly just flip the hips and fire it on a dime before the receiver even makes his break. He's not played with this kind of confidence in a long, long time. And one of the things, like this is a cat and mouse game now with the Argos secondary. Like if you're Royce Mechie, the safety, playing center field, you're trying to read the quarterback's eyes. Well, if the quarterback's looking off the entire play, at some point you got to make a decision. And Collaros is like, okay, the Argos have to play him straight up because you can't.
Sounds like we're having audio problems with Arash.
Hey, sorry. My Wi-Fi's not the best.
No, it's okay. Are you at a tavern?
We have each other.
Okay, you know what? When you're talking about Collaros, and that is very similar to what I saw from Trevor Harris when he was firing on all cylinders for the Riders as well. There's that confidence in your receivers, and there's the confidence in yourself to be able to look off, and then if you got to drop a let's call it a post corner or an out and up or whatever's taking time to set up, then that is the confidence of having receivers, because you see it in the NFL a lot of times. The worst thing you can have as a quarterback is a receiver that all of a sudden goes, well, but I saw this, or I thought this would be open. Yeah, but dude, you're not watching 7 other guys. Like, there's no tougher position that you got to worry about what everyone else is doing, plus the blocking, plus the scheme, if there was play action involved. So you're right. It's like, what about, I was thinking about this too, Bo Levi Mitchell, what kind of, has he all of a sudden gone from holding a 7-2 to pocket kings here with the way the quarterback market is?
Hey, I thought I'd just go to my phone.
Did you hear me a question about Bo Levi?
I missed the question on Bo Levi. Sorry.
Okay, I said did where the quarterback situation is, what's going to happen with Trey Ford, what's going to happen with VA, all that. But did he go from holding like a 7-2 to all of a sudden holding pocket Cowboys?
I think so. And I think he holds the best hand not just pre-flop, Barney, but basically at the turn, because we're almost at that point of the off season where, okay, teams are effectively starting to think about, okay, what decisions do we make now? They restructured Bo Levi Mitchell's contract coming into this season. He's around 250. Barney, there's no way Bo's playing anywhere near that contract next year. And all of a sudden, the carousel, you start to wonder about things, right? Is Ottawa going to move forward with Drew Brown? Is Edmonton going to have McLeod Bethel Thompson in the mix? Are they confident enough with Trey Ford? Who knows who the quarterback, who knows who the head coach is going to be in Edmonton moving forward? I'm pretty sure the Riders going to ride with Trevor Harris, but there's still some, you know, at some point the music's going to stop and someone's going to be without a chair, but sitting back in his lazy boy right now is Bo Levi Mitchell. And I would suspect that his salary is going to almost double. So I think he'd be happy to go back to Hamilton, but Hamilton's got to ante up.
Yeah. That is going to be so interesting how that plays
Isn't
out.
it?
Yeah. What time are you heading to the event?
I'm actually I'm taking the veteran option out of the awards.
Oh,
right. Yeah. There's a football game that's about to start.
What do you think? What do you think there? I hammered money line Washington.
I
Full
like
disclosure.
it. I like it.
Did you?
I'm too chicken, so I'm just going to take the points just for a little buffer. But why not?
Give me one long shot that's getting a touchdown on either side that I can sprinkle on us, and I'll go to cool bet here and do it.
Ooh. I don't know what kind of long shot he is, but I would say first TD, go Saquon. Not in any time, but a first TD.
Yeah, I'm not big first TD guy. I used to be, and I just kept losing on that one. But okay, Hey, and you know what? It's been 20 years since Paul McCallum missed that kick for the Riders.
Yes.
And you know how I always like to go back and I tie everything into music. 20 years ago, Usher, Little John, Ludacris, that was number one. But the
was
number,
it really?
Yeah, and then the other one that was just creeping up the charts. Such a good song. Here Without You, 3 Doors Down.
Come on.
Oh, I saw those guys live once. Underrated.
Barney, how old are we?
Doesn't matter. My wife asks me that almost every day. How old are you?
Yeah, I bet she does. Every day or every night?
Every day. Just childish stupidity. Okay. Have a great weekend. Let's package it all up next week, my man.
Okay. Thanks, bud.
Right on. That's Coast to Coast with Arash Madani. He's on the coast for Brian Gawley, Smart Investing Solutions.
Just when you started talking about music, and I know a band that you hold close to your heart, Roxette, and I just was laughing in the rink a few weeks ago when little Ireland Crozier came in and was like, "Dad, I think I really like Roxette now." And I'm like, "Oh, you must have been away with Shank."
Really?
Yeah, so you're turning the Rebels white into some Roxette fans, whether it's you doing it or somebody else in the mix there. But I know it's a band that's very important to you.
My favorite band of all time, Roxette from Sweden. But no, 3 Doors Down. Come on, Someday from Nickelback was coming out then, and then the lead singer died. I was going to see him in Sass Place in Saskatoon, Lincoln Park. Then they canceled that show, and I'm like, that's okay, I'll get another chance. And then Chester passed away. But Lincoln Park is back touring. They're playing the Sick New Days Festival in Vegas in April. Happened to be there. Lincoln Park, there's bands that play all day. Get this. Lincoln Park, this is kind of the closers. Evanescence, Queens of the Stone Age, Metallica.
So it's like a 2003 concert?
Let's go. 2003.
Speaking of that, today was the announcement for Country Thunder?
It's tonight.
What are you thinking? Any dark horses, or and you can't say?
No. They're saying rock is back. another rock act. So I don't know. Like last year, we were floating around having some fun rock acts that should tour. Like I don't know how rock you want to get. Like I would go like Linkin Park. You know what band, and they would never play Country Thunder. You know what band? I was saying this to my wife the other day. A band that needs to tour. That from the old, like from our kind of era. 3 Doors Down. Oh no, sorry, Matchbox 20.
Rob Thomas.
What a couple of CDs, especially that one. Like,
did he bring Santana with him?
No. Santana's house is on Bears Best Golf Course in Las Vegas. If you slice it, if you're a lefty, you're pretty much going right up to Santana's house. So much. I know you guys are all learning things out here. The CNCs are like, who are these bands they're talking about? That doesn't sound like house music. It is the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
This is Country Gold with Steve Harmon, your home for the country hits of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Hello, I'm Steve Harmon, inviting you to join me for Country Gold. Each week we play country favorites from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and we check in with the stars who made them, too. This weekend on Country Gold.
Country Gold, brought to you by Trent Dickin and his experienced team at Flooring Superstore. Saturday mornings at 6 and Sunday afternoons at 4 on the Voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
When it comes to duct cleaning, call Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They'll clean out the dust and debris that builds up over the summer. When you need protection, they offer a monthly plan for homeowners to get regular service done on their AC and furnace, as well as plumbing. And when it comes to furnace servicing, it's never too early to get that done too. Bronco will service your furnace and have you ready to go before winter hits. Consider it today, so you can rest easy tomorrow. Learn more at broncoplumbing.com.
Tiny toppings and cardboard-flavored carbs are not what you get when you order from Western Pizza. But they haven't just perfected pizza. No, my friend, add Caesar salad to that list, along with satisfying garlic toast, baked lasagna, crispy chicken wings, and every other item on their extensive menu. Western Pizza makes food for hungry people. So if you're only kinda sorta hungry, you should invite more people. Western Pizza, big on toppings, big on taste.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Grandma Bentley.
Well, hello, Otto. Diesel, what are you and your dad doing today?
We just got our oil change at Moose Jaw Truck Shop.
Yeah, Mom. Thought maybe I could take your car in for you.
No, you can't. Not unless you take me with you. You know how much I love their cookies.
All month, oil changes are just $37.77 for cars, $67.77 for trucks and SUVs, and $117.77 for European and diesel. They'll see you soon at moosejawtruckshop.com.
Grey Cup Sunday. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will play the Toronto Argonauts for the 111th Grey Cup in Vancouver. The all-new Sports Cage has the best game day coverage in the CFL. It all starts with countdown to kickoff at 1, the Grey Cup pregame show at 3, and kickoff at 5:30. Don't miss a minute of the action. The 2024 Grey Cup on the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rough Rider Radio Network.
Get your equipment out of the rain and snow and under the roof of a new storage building from Olympic Buildings. Have a warm, dry place to work and keep everything out of the cold. Olympic Buildings. Buildings to meet your budget. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
The all-new Sports Cage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
One thing I forgot to mention, my daughter, I wouldn't say my kids, my daughter made sure the whole house is wearing some sort of blue today because it is World Diabetes Day. I was going to ask Arash. I think it's supposed to be light blue. The only light blue shirt I have is an old Gray Owl Prince Albert National Park shirt that I can't find for the life of me. So this is close to light blue as I go. I should have given you guys a heads up. Yeah, Pat Blue's jersey in the back behind Kellen. That would work as well. Still to come. In about 10 minutes' time, head coach of the U of R Rams getting set for Laval, Mark McConkey, is going to join us. Let's get into a little hockey. Tonight in the NHL, 15-1 Winnipeg Jets are in Tampa. Take on the Lightning. Nashville, 5-9-2. They're in Edmonton. That's an interesting watch. Nashville's playing, I don't want to say desperate, but they are playing to start winning hockey games. Coach could be on the hot seat there. Habs visit Minnesota, Phillies in Ottawa, Boston's at Dallas, Jersey visits Florida, Rangers welcome San Jose, and Blues and Buffalo. Western Hockey League. One thing about the Western Hockey League, if anyone knows who's in charge of the Western Hockey League website, they just need it more user-friendly. It's a tricky website. It's been the same for a while. It's probably since you worked at the shop.
Yeah, and I think it's actually born out of the CHL website. Like I think they all share with each other on the same platform, and they did a huge rebrand. I want to say like right before 2018 Memorial Cup, right around that time when they really pushed the WHL TV. But yeah, it is a tricky website to find information on. And yeah, our Pats, my Pats, whoever's Pats, they need to seek God here or something. They're having
or Gord.
Or yeah, go find Gord, Pritchard or otherwise, and see if we can turn this ship upstream, downstream.
Our buddy Brandon Basler, who was in here hosting last week, he said maybe they're kind of. I mean, we said it on the Monday Nooner because there's a word that I can't use here to get Maddox Schultz. Maybe that's a bit of the play. Phenom, generational talent playing for the Regina Pat Canadians. If you haven't watched this kid play, I think to go to a Pat Canadians game, it's like $10. Go watch them. So when they play the Contacts, that's the game I want to go watch. Some buddies' kids playing on the Seas and being alma mater. But yeah, like Maddox Schultz is worth the price of admission. Nothing against the rest of the kids on the ice, but he's a generational talent for the Regina Pat Canadians. WHL, segueing from their website, no games tonight. Pats are playing 2 games in Brandon tomorrow and Saturday. You don't see that very often. Teams going to Brandon there, so interesting scheduling there. Swift Current Broncos in overtime over Moose Jaw last night. Our clutch performers for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. You can call 781-1077. We give it to a Swift Current Bronco yesterday. Let's give it to a Swift Current Bronco again because they are buzzing. Luke Misselbacher, 2 goals, 2 assists for the Broncos in that win. They went into the shootout the night before. Then they went in overtime last night. So good hockey. People are being treated to in the Jaw and in Swift Current last night. Joey Roca, 33 saves. Jackson Unger had 31 saves in the loss for the Moose Jaw Warriors. No SJHL tonight. The Saudi Mainline Chrysler, worth the drive, Benny Walchuk, game of the week. There's 2 of them. It's Flin Flon and Kindersley tomorrow and Saturday. So if you're in that area, like we said, it's worth the drive, just like Saudi Mainline Chrysler. New king of trucks, guaranteed. No U18 AAA tonight. 1 game of note in the Northwest, 7:45 puck drop at the Wick. Let's give a little love to the U15 AA Monarchs and Aces, an all Regina clash at the Wick. No concession, as some teams from Saskatoon are coming to find out. They're like, hey, where's the concession? We don't have one. There's a bowling alley across the street and an indoor golf place. So Randy Smith, former Team Canada standout with Dave King in the Spangler Cup and Saskatoon Blade in the 80s, was coaching. He went over and got himself, he said, a $12 plate of French fries from Cross Rochdale there. So the Wick, great facility, no concession, 7:45 Monarchs and Aces. And then nothing in the senior loops tonight that we know of, but last night Raymore improves to 3-0. La Rockets, 7-2 win over the Balcarres Bronx. Senior report, it will be on the show tomorrow.
You got to think that, the Balcarres guys need to get back to skating on Mondays if this is what they're doing on Wednesdays. Paul Albers, I'll be available back door. I'm going to whiff on it, but
skated with Albie last week. You're not playing senior yet, he said. Yeah, but They got some good guys out there. But that Monday noon skate that we used to have was unbelievable. I'm begging for anyone to fire up a noon hour skate these days. It would be hockey wise. What do you got? Did you see this? I think I sent it to you earlier. Allegedly, 29 players are looking for reinstatement to Hockey Canada, leaving the BCHL.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can say it was expected. Really cool announcement, obviously, and decision of the CHL and NCAA back and forth. I know you guys have talked about it on the show here, and I spent some time on Monday with Braxton Whitehead. He was volunteering at our Hockey Regina U9 goalie day, so he was there, so I chatted with him briefly. But the interesting thing with this decision, when they were first talking about it, was both ways, right? It's exciting in terms of being able to get those players back into the Canadian Hockey League loop, but at the same time, in the way that players have sort of parachuted in after World Juniors and et cetera in the past, we could see that start happening the other way here too. Somebody goes to World Juniors and, they're playing with a guy from, that plays NCAA, and suddenly they don't come back after Christmas, and now they're lacing them up for the Wolverines in Michigan in January and enrolled second semester. So that's going to be the part to me that's going to be the most interesting, is to see who the first, big name guy and a guy that a junior hockey team is counting on that just disappears into thin air and shows up on the roster of an NCAA team mid-season.
That's actually really interesting. Yeah, I'm enrolled in political science, University of Michigan. What are the other common every kind of?
I always remember my favorite one ever was watching the national championship game football, and it was Matt Leinart against Texas.
Yeah, what a game!
And they were highlighting Matt Leinart was in his 5th year. He had won the Heisman the year before, and Reggie Bush won that year, and he was enrolled in one class. And it was modern dance, and they were bringing his dance partner all over the country with him so that they could continue to work on the routine that he needed to present on to maintain his academic standing. And I was like, oh, my Lanta.
I remember the Cosmo Civic Center in Saskatoon. We were young, and we were troublemakers. And the guy that worked the front, he was burly, pretty well put together individual, and he started making fun of us West Side kids. He's like, "You're never, you guys don't even know. You will never know what going to university is." And I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "What's your degree in?" Phys ed. I said, "Well, and now you're handing out balls at the Cosmo Civic Center. Good for you." It's pretty witty for like 8 years old, to be honest. It is the all-new Sports Cage. We are going to talk to the head coach of the U of R Rams, getting ready for Laval and the Mitchell Bowl when we come back. Streaming at sportscage.com, and as always, on the home of the University of Regina Rams, 620 CKRM.
Water heater and water softener rentals are now available at Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Instead of paying big money up front, you can rent a water heater and water softener directly from Bronco without the worry or hassle. They have a long history of renting water heaters and water softeners, and they're maintenance-free. Bronco comes and does all that for you. Saskatchewan's best water heater rentals are from Bronco. Call 306-781-2090. Professional, courteous service. BroncoPlumbing.com.
Husqvarna. Sounds exotic, doesn't it?
Here he comes. I believe he's wearing Husqvarna.
Husqvarna is actually a high-end brand of snowblower available at Prairie Line Rental, but it still gets you red carpet attention. Here's the difference.
All right, I'm gonna go shovel.
Wear your toque.
Or...
Girl, it's time to fire up the Husqvarna.
That's my man.
Prairie Line Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielinerental.com.
What a playoff run. The Regina Rams are champions of the 87th Hardy Cup after an exciting 1914 win over their rival, the Saskatchewan Huskies. The University of Regina Rams will be hosting the Mitchell Bowl, the U Sports National semifinal football game this weekend at Mosaic Stadium. The Rams will kick off against Laval this Saturday at 2 p.m. Get your tickets today at reginarams.com. And let's show everyone why Regina is the best city to catch a game. It's football time. Go Rams!
Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
Eder Seed and Processing east of Regina is always looking for seed, particularly brown and yellow flax and large caliber peas, including Forest, Comfort, Spruce, and Striker green peas. They're splitting peas for human consumption, and they're always looking to buy. Eder Seed and Processing is licensed and insured with the Canadian Grain Commission. Call Jim at 522-1668 for delivery options and prices. That's 522-1668. Eder Seed and Processing, just east of Regina off Highway 33.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. No doubt about it. We've been talking about it. It's the biggest game in the province this weekend. The Rams and Laval Rouge or in the Mitchell Bowl. Saturday. It is Thursday chat with Coach McConkey. We should have had this sponsored for the last 4 weeks. We've been rolling. Hey, I didn't want to ask you any questions at the national press conference, right? I didn't want to jinx anything. But Mark, it is pretty remarkable that we're talking again on this Thursday. Let's go back to Saskatoon last weekend and how it all unfolded and you guys winning on their turf.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal moment, big moment for the program, and just so happy for the players and alumni and even post coaches, Frank McChrystal, Bernie Schmidt, guys like that. It's been a long time since we won a Hardy Cup, since 2000. So it was big, and honestly, it was even sweeter to do it up there.
How quick do you guys regroup after that? Do you guys have 24 hours to celebrate, or was it like right into tape on Laval and because what are we facing here?
Yeah, no, for the players definitely went out and celebrated Saturday night, but the coaches, we came back and had a few sodas and started ripping through Laval tape right away and spent the whole night there doing that and all day Sunday. And then when we came in Sunday, we watched the film and I said, hey, that's awesome. We won this. But to be honest, who cares? We're on to Laval. There's bigger things in front of us. I said, that's what December's for. That's what the awards night's for in December. We'll celebrate it then, but we got bigger fish to fry right now. So we've been all focused on Laval, so we're not talking too much about the Hardy.
How much of a crash course has it been from, let's say, Sunday night or Saturday night, whenever, Sunday morning, to now on Laval?
Yeah, I mean, you're learning new things every day because it's a new team, right? After we beat Manitoba, we knew what we had in US. We've played them before. We beat them once, they beat us once, so we kind of knew we're a common opponent. Laval, we've never played them. I think they played them in 2002 in a preseason game, but you can't watch the tape from then. So it was, a lot of learning. They're a strong team. They're an athletic team. They got a good defense, but we're learning more and more. And I think we're feeling pretty positive going in. And I know we're the underdog, but when are we not? So I feel confident with the way we're playing and the way we're peaking at the right time. And I think we can take this one.
Isn't this the fun part of coaching for the whole coaching staff? It's like the unknown, the chess match. It's like, okay, they're going to do this, we're going to do this. They might do this, we do that. Isn't it a lot of fun though?
Yeah, it's fun when you win. I'll tell you that. But yeah, no, for sure. Sunday, Monday, that's our day 0 or negative, and it's all game plan. Coaches are in there cutting film, putting ideas on the board, and those are the fun days. And then now to see it slowly come to fruition throughout the week, we're practicing against their defense. We're running this new play that we think, like it says, a chess match, and hopefully Coach Donnelly calls the right ones during the chess game.
Does it remind you, what they bring remind you of anybody out west? Maybe a couple of teams?
They're kind of a combo. Their defense is very similar to Manitoba. Play a lot of match defense. They fly around. They're very high and low. If you get a big play on them, they'll shut down. If they make a big pick or tackle, they are through the moon. They're kind of roller coasty on defense, and offensively very similar to UBC. They got great running back, great quarterback, big old line. They pound the ball, and so it's kind of a combination of UBC and Manitoba.
Any update on quarterback Noah Pelche?
He's practicing. He's throwing his shoulder. It's not broken or anything like that. It's just a shoulder injury. So he's slowly working his way through. And honestly, the sad part is I don't even know. He's day to day, and we'll see how he does tonight and tomorrow, and then we'll make a call on Saturday morning. Who
would go in? Is Saban ready or?
he's also trying to get cleared to play as well. And then we got Trey Jones as well. So it's whoever's going to go in. Again, we got 3 strong quarterbacks. We're confident in any of those 3 guys. But I'm pretty confident no one will play, or at least try to play, and see how long it goes.
Are you happy with what the forecast is showing? Would you like it a little bit colder with what Laval brings, or how the weather's looking is good on you guys?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit colder wouldn't be terrible, but they get cold weather there too, so it doesn't really matter. And they beat Calgary in 2010 in the Snow Bowl, so they're built to win either way, and I think we are too with our defense. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, the nicer weather hopefully brings out more people.
When you were playing, last question here, because I know you got to go. When you were playing, and we all grew up watching this Laval, this big red machine, and Coach Constantin. When you were playing, did you ever think that you'd be in this situation up against this guy?
No, never. Like I said, I've seen them play on national television way too many times, being either a player not in the Net Vanier or Mitchell Bowl, or as a coach. And excited for the opportunity. Obviously, you got to have a lot of respect for Glen. He's a legend, right? Guys like him, Brian Towers, that are the most winningest coaches ever. So it's pretty good opportunity for the program, for myself. And this is definitely a game I'm never going to forget. And like I said, hopefully we get the win, and I can chat with you guys Thursday from Kingston, and that'll probably be it, unless you want to bring me in after the season. We'll see. Yeah.
If you win, I might come to Kingston. That's where I'm at right now. Man, it's awesome. I've been talking to a lot of buddies that played Huskies. I know they're the big rival, but now they're on board with this. So it's pretty cool to see this, right? The Sasky support, Sasky pride. Again, hey, congratulations. Best of luck. What a ride it's been. So happy for you guys. And let's hope to talk next week, Mark.
We will. We'll get a sponsor for next Thursday.
What a beauty. Head coach of the U of R, Regina Rams, Mark McConkey. What a game coming up Saturday. It is the all-new Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com and on the home of the Regina Rams.
The next item up for auction is entry to the Canadian Western Exhibition. We'll open up the bidding at $25. $25. Who will give me 20? $20 bid, 20. Do I hear $10 bid? Who will give me $10? $10. Who will give me $0? $0 bid, $0. Going once, $0 going twice. Sold for $0.
Connexus members get free entry to the Canadian Western Exhibition. Pick up your multi-day pass at any Connexus branch.
Sorry to scare you in the shower. Mother sent me to tell you that Future Vision is having a big 2-for-1 sale, with international styles arriving daily.
Future Vision. Where'd you get those? Eyes?
Oh, and Future Vision is a proud recipient of the Consumer's Choice Award 2023.
The all-new Sportscage, the voice of the Regina Rams, is proud to present the U Sports National Semifinal, the 2024 Mitchell Bowl. Saturday, the Rams will take on the Laval Rouge et Or at Mosaic Stadium. The winner moves on to play for a national championship in the Vanier Cup. Our game day coverage starts with a pregame show at 1:30, kickoff at 2. Regina Rams football on the voice of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
When planning a mini winter getaway, take a step back in time with the historic Grant Hall Hotel in Moose Jaw. Built in the 1920s, this luxurious hotel features classic designs, 58 styles of rooms, the most elegant meeting rooms, and a banquet hall. Spend the day exploring, then enjoy an extravagant, relaxing dining experience at the Grant Hall Dining Room and Burrowing Owl Lounge. They have gift cards too, perfect for stocking stuffers. The Grant Hall Hotel Moose Jaw, your vacation destination in a notorious little city with an amazing history.
Yo, it's your furnace. Sorry, I caught a cold. Actually, you should be apologizing to me. I heard that Arrow Plumbing and Heating will tune up your furnace for only $129. So I'm gonna sit back and relax while Arrow makes me feel all warm and cozy inside. You go ahead and visit arrowplumbing.ca and get that scheduled, huh? Arrow Plumbing, Heating and Air.
The 620 CKRM Country Corner is brought to you by Glasses TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, and Foster's Audio Video in Carlisle. Get the newest cell phone today with an amazing SaskTel rate plan.
Connect with Regina's largest craft market at the Our Best to You Handmade Market, November 14th to 16th at the International Trade Center, 10 to 9 on Thursday and Friday, 10 to 6 on Saturday. Find out more at ourbesttoyouregina.com. 620 CKRM proudly supports JJ Voss and Friends, Saturday, November 23rd at Dark Hall. Special guests Dean Cush and Megan Kelly. Tickets are available at darkhall.ca. Canadian Western Agribition kicks off November 25th at the Real District. 6 straight days of action. Take in the Maple Leaf Finals Rodeo, trade show, and so much more. Full event details at agribition.com. And spend your Saturdays with the Symphony. The Regina Symphony Orchestra Christmas Special is December 7th. Concert list at reginasymphony.com.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
It has been a fast and furious show so far. On World Diabetes Day, remember that. If you're wearing the light blue or blue shirts, that's why. Today we started with CFL Awards tonight in Vancouver. Heard from Coach Mace and Logan Furland. We talked about, maybe we'll run it in hour 3. The kick, Paul McCallum, 20 years ago. Today he missed from 18 yards against the British Columbia Lions in the West semifinal, or in the West final. And the rest is history. Kelly Bates was on. That's a good pod if you want to go listen to that pick if you didn't hear that one. Kelly Bates, offensive line coach for the BC Lions, former U of S Husky rider, and briefly, and Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Good chat with Batesy there. And then Coach McConkey, U of R Rams. You just heard we're going to talk to U of R Rams offensive lineman Parker Hodel later in hour 3. We also have Glen Suitor still to come, and we're going to talk rugby. Canadian Sevens rugby coach Jack Hanratty. After that, if you watched the Olympics this year, you saw them upset the U.S., and then they were up on New Zealand. Silver medal, though. We're going to talk rugby. He's in town. Always fun. But let's talk hockey. Or no, let's talk marketing money. Let's go. I know, Colson, you've been... CFL marketing money. It's coming out. A lot of people are talking about. What do you know about it? Colson, you are our accountant / auditor here on the Sports Cage. What have you found out?
I don't think I fulfill any of those titles, but okay. We were talking about it in our production meeting this morning, and I just do a quick Google search because that's all I really do, and kind of search my way through the CBA from 2022. And basically, everyone knows what the salary cap is. This is how much money you can spend on your players. In addition to the salary cap, they've added a minimum non-football related services, which is marketing money. So each team has to spend a minimum of $110,000 on their players in marketing. So doing a promotional thing, coming on a radio show, whatever it is, right? So each team has to spend that minimum. They can negotiate individually with each player how much that is and can go over that. So that's where you see Nathan Rourke getting twice as much as a team has to spend.
There's no ceiling.
There's no ceiling. So that's where I'm kind of like, oh, so you could kind of buy things. But again, the catch with this is every team is audited because you need to know.
Allegedly.
Well, you need to know how much they've spent per players to be under the cap. If they go over, they get penalized, right? So marketing money is also audited. And if the money wasn't actually spent in a marketing fashion, it counts towards the salary cap and can be penalized.
That's semantics on a lot of it. No, Kellen, what do you think?
Connor Bedard is going to make visits in the community. And he's going to get $250,000 to...
Yeah.
That sounds like a gray area of...
I love it.
Footballs and gas.
But we talked about it in the summer when they signed Rourke, and they were like, and then marketing money, and I'm like, well, what is the ceiling? What can each guy get? And if it's unlimited, and Omar Doman's got, more money than he knows what to do with, awesome. Give him whatever. Yeah, here's your contract. We're gonna go under the cap. That's what I would do.
League minimum.
At league min, but we got marketing money. We have this sign. You go on the side of the street and spin, or go hang out with The youth.
Go to the dealership.
Yes, I think we say dispensary.
Yeah, no, the dealership. We're bringing in Patrick Mahomes next year to quarterback the Riders, and he's going to go to Capital Ford
sponsor
on
the program
Saturdays and
twirl hot dogs.
Yeah, just throw footballs to kids who want to catch them in that green tank on the corner.
Is that ever a slippery slope and absolutely shady? I don't mind it. Something's going to give there. They're going to cap. They got to cap that. And I would really like to see this audit, how it goes down and how thorough it is and what they we could talk about more of this in hour 3. Let's take a quick break. You know who we'll talk to about? We'll talk to Glen Suitor about it. He's kicking things off after the news in hour 3. It's the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. It's cloudy and it's 9 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for for Echo Sound in Fort Capel, rather. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Premier Scott Moe announced that Saskatchewan's new Legislative Assembly session will begin on November 25th, just 4 weeks after the recent provincial election. Moe stated that the session will focus on building a strong economy and addressing the needs of residents who sought change. They also have to elect a Speaker of the House, and the opposition gallery will be considerably bigger, with the NDP winning 27 of 61 seats. The 2-week fall sitting will include debate and passage of the throne speech and introduce legislation to fulfill campaign promises. Moe expressed gratitude for the opportunity to govern for all Saskatchewan residents, emphasizing plans to improve health care, education, and affordability. The NDP is promising to remove the GST on all essentials if it forms the next government in Canada. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says when you buy groceries, his government would ensure GST is not applied starting at the checkout till. Those essentials could include pre-made meals and foods at grocery stores, clothing for children under 15 years old, diapers, home heating, cell phone, and internet bills. Singh made the announcement in response to the cost of living playing a central role in several provincial elections across Canada this fall. Satirical news publication The Onion has bought Alex Jones's InfoWars at a bankruptcy auction with the backing of families of victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. Ben Collins is the CEO of The Onion's parent company, Global Tetrahedron. He says they believe Jones was also bidding to keep control of his InfoWars site.
By the end of the day, it was us or Alex Jones. That's who could either continue this website unabated, basically unpunished for what he's done to these families over the years, or we can make a dumb, stupid website. And we decided to do the second.
The purchase price was not disclosed. And Taylor Swift fan Megan Moran is among the fans gathered outside Toronto's Rogers Centre this afternoon. Moran says she traveled in from Ottawa after securing a ticket to tonight's show just 9 days ago. She spent $600 for her seat and says she's happy to be among fellow Swifties.
I love it. It feels like such a big family here right now. I'm so excited.
Swift launches the Canadian leg of her record-breaking Eras tour tonight. She'll play 6 shows in Toronto and heads to Vancouver next month. It is 5:02, and that is your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when... Uh-oh.
There are some things that can get spoiled. A sunny day, maybe.
Aw, and no umbrella or anything.
And then there's Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, where they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. With such a wide selection and so many great plans, nothing can spoil it.
Yay, rain!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
Discover the magic of handmade at Our Best to You, Regina's favorite fall marketplace. It's on now until Saturday at the International Trade Center. Explore 140 vendors showcasing beautiful home decor, jewelry, candles, fashion, and more. Shop Regina's own artisans like Buckle Up Bags by Nancy Logan and Red Door Maps by Jackie Foster. Find your next favorite thing at Our Best to You Handmade Market. Tickets at ourbesttoyou.com.
It's 5:03, and I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, brought to you by Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and 4 Matt's Furniture. Visit mattsfurniture.ca. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
The shower threat diminishes through the evening. The sky gradually clears out, though likely still pretty cloudy into the morning before finally breaking out to the sunshine during the daytime hours on Friday. We hold around -2 for the low. The wind is still up enough to drive the wind chill into the upper minus single numbers, but then we climb back to around 4 or 5 degrees on Friday. Sunshine prevalent. Cloud rolls back in, a chance of a flurry or two for Friday night. This is a minor snowfall, nothing more than a couple of flurries lingering into Saturday. Mostly cloudy overall, but temperatures get stuck. -1 Friday night, near 1 degree on the plus side for Saturday. Sunday, nice day, and the sun gets the temperature recovering back up to around 6 degrees. Anything positive is above normal this time of year. And we'll do one more positive day on Monday. Rain showers developing, though, temperature around 6. We get back to more seasonable conditions the rest of the week. Rain could even change to snow Monday night. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Phil Spivak.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is 3, Swift Current 7, Assiniboia 11, Broadview Moosomin 6, Yorkton Melville 4, Estevan 6, and Weyburn is 11. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy. Winds are from the west at 28, gusting to 39, and it's 9. Regina is cloudy. Winds are from the southwest at 17, and it's 9 here as well. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you big money at Matt's Furniture. Now till November 20th, save more with Maytag. Check out the Maytag front load washer with extra power and 12-hour fresh span option for just $11.99. Get it in white or upgrade to Volcano Black for $100 more. Or the Maytag front load electric dryer with extra power and quick dry cycle, which also comes in Volcano Black for an additional $100. Matt's Furniture in Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Thanks to those that have been tuning in and those that are just tuning in. Maybe you're driving home, 5 o'clock. It's Barney Shinkaruk, Kellen Enslev, the C's, and Alan all here with you on the Sports Cage today. If you missed any of it, the Kelly Bates, you want to go back and listen to the Kelly Bates interview? Good times there. Mark McConkey. We've had Arash Madani. And we had a nice rundown of the Paul McCallum miss 20 years ago today. Coulson, it really bothers you that much? Were you even, how old were you at that point? 5?
In what year?
20 years ago from today.
I would have been 8.
8 years old. So I don't know. I remember when the Riders lost to Tracy Ham. I was about 8. I was sad.
Well, I was just going to say, I didn't get a chance to jam it in before the break there when we were talking about ripping the Band-Aid off, but marketing dollars. Are players allowed to get marketing dollars to go into the CFL Command Center and work replays on some games?
That's a side hustle.
That's a side.
Like
that would be a good marketing. They're promoting the league.
Whichever team's on the bye week.
Just putting decisions
players
on,
in to make decisions on other
based
teams.
on your standings. Yeah, no, that's a call. Marketing money. We went down that rabbit hole. No ceiling. Hey, Alan, what would you just pay as much as you want? Pay as little as you want. Pay as little, and then give them as much as you want. Call the sheriff rule. Yeah, it's an absolute loophole. The sheriff would sniff that out in about 5 seconds. If I know you. So much more. It is World Diabetes Day. If you're wearing a blue shirt for that. Civic elections wrapped up around Saskatchewan. New mayor here in Regina, Chad Baczynski. Is that the fellow's name? Trying to get him on the program. Maybe he'll come on. Saskatoon's got their first female mayor ever in Cynthia Block, former CTV news anchor from when I was a youngster. And then, PA's got a new one. I think Moose Jaw's got a new one, too. So congratulations to everyone and everyone that ran a hard-fought battle, and lineups were long in Regina. You said you waited, over an hour? Close to an hour?
I waited nothing.
Oh, no, you were out east?
Yeah, I lost track. It was probably over an hour and a half.
Jeez. But there wasn't more voters. It was just how the system went down.
Yeah, it's a weird setup, and it's interesting to say, like, we talk about fulfilling our civic duty, but I didn't really have any like I went and I voted, I did my research, but I feel the same way as you talked about some other people. Like, if I'd have got there and there was a long lineup, I would have had zero compel to stand there for any length of time for yesterday's election.
We were both in the Northwest, so we were at the hotel.
Yeah,
and I went early in the morning. And the lineup was huge, and the continental breakfast was buzzing. And I'm like, oh, does that smell good? I wonder if they would notice. And then I'm like, there's about 400 people here. I'm sure everyone else thought about the same idea. So I just turned around, went back, and then went back in the evening, but it was still lined up. So that's your civic election report brought to you by City of Regina. More to get to. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza, great for the festive season. If you're thinking about a staff potluck, anything like that, Western Pizza, and also gift cards around the holiday season. Perfect. And it is press coverage.
The all-new Sportscage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor is brought to you by Quality Tire. With 9 locations across Saskatchewan, visit qualitytire.ca.
For those on the stream, this is not Rob Lowe. We have Glen Suitor here with the I'm cheering for both teams CFL hat on.
Yeah, I've never seen you in a hat, Glenn.
Neutral, man. I have to represent, gentlemen. I have to represent. It's Grey Cup week. I've got to have a logo on all the time. Let's go.
See, I thought maybe because when we talked on Tuesday, you said you're not partaking in any of the events, and I thought maybe it was a slippery slope. You got after it yesterday, and now you're just saying, I'm wearing a hat today. Screw it, I'm going with a hat. No, but how is things going? Like, how is the buzz? How's everything with the Grey Cup in Vancouver so far?
Yeah, so far so good. The one thing that everyone should have expected and has happened is the rain. I mean, that's the one sort of downside. You have to be prepared for the rain in Vancouver. Shocker, right? So there's that. But beyond that, yeah, it's just getting ramped up.
If the Riders were there, what do you remember about Paul McCallum missing that kick 20 years ago? CFL marketing money and how that goes down.
I lost you guys.
Oh, now you're back. We got you reload everything. The old Commodore 64 doesn't run like she used to. No, but you were talking about the rain, and I just kind of give people a little less Nessman, like a rainy weekend in Vancouver, but heck, it's still Vancouver, and it's the Grey Cup. It'll be a lot of fun. Awards tonight. Do you think anything surprising there? Do you want to run down? I know you're not prediction guy, but I didn't think you were hat guy either. Do you want to run down who you think's going to win?
Well, no, but I think two of the really cool races is MOP this year. and also defensive player. And when you look at Everett and Roland and which way that could go, I think both you can make an argument for big time. I think Roland's work on the special teams really should give him a bit of an edge if there's any edge to be had there. And then when you look at the MOP race, it's that quarterback numbers versus running back numbers usually wins. Mm-hmm. However, a quarterback with a losing record and was benched during the year, how does that factor into the voting with Brady Oliveira? So I'll be very interested to see the results of those two in particular.
Let's get into the game as much as we can, and I've been watching and going here. It seems like it's switched today. I'm not saying it's switching hourly, but cool bets. We're going down to 9. We got a 9-point game now, obviously with Winnipeg being the favorite. It was at 10.5. Was there anything that now that the Argos are in and practicing and Arbuckle's slinging it that would change this line, or maybe a game plan? Like, why do you think it would go down 1.5, Glenn?
Well, I think probably listening to a lot of the analysts talking about how this Argo team is not just going to lay down, and that they won in a lot of different ways. They won with 3 different quarterbacks. Chad Kelly was not playing when they played the first time against Winnipeg. They beat them twice. I mean, the Bombers were winning, they were going to win out in the second half of the season, but for one team, and that was the Argos that beat them late in the season. So, I think there's a lot of that going on, which may be pushing the number a little bit. And, I still believe that the front 7 in Toronto is strong enough and powerful enough. They sacked in 2 games. They sacked Zach Collaros, I think it was double figures, 10 or 11 times in 2 games. I mean, they got after him. They're very capable with Wynton McManus to stop the run, and Brady Oliveira. Maybe not stop Brady, but contain him. Let's put it that way. In 2 games, Brady's rushed for 160. That's not 100 yards a game. So, when you start to add those things up, plus I'm going to add Janarian Grant to this. And people are talking about, he's a great returner and maybe he gets another touchdown on a return. Of course, that would be a big play in a Grey Cup game for the Argos. But Janarian Grant could also cause a field position advantage by just his presence and his reputation. Mm. And what I mean by that is I go back to the Grey Cup back in Ottawa it was a cup against the BC Lions against the Toronto Argonauts. Damon Allen, it was Dave Dickinson for BC. That was the year that Casey Printers was hurt and had such a great start. In that game, Bashar Livingston was the big returner for the Argos. And the punter for BC tried so hard to keep it away from Livingston that he kept shanking kicks. And his average was like 20, 25 yards. And what a massive field position advantage if you add up 4 of those that could be, for the Argos. So, if I don't think Michael O'Shea will coach this team to kick it away and be scared of anybody. It's not in his personality. But if they try to angle it away and Jamison Sheehan, their punter, gets, the little bit of the jitters because he doesn't want to kick it to Janarian, and he shanks a couple, that could be a factor in this thing.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point because there's a lot of pressure there, right? The championship game under that. If you've ever dropped a football on your foot under pressure to kick it, I don't care if it's a pass, punt, and kick. If you're a kid, it's a whole different ball of wax. That's a really interesting point. What are you seeing from crowd wise? Is it going to be heavy Winnipeg in that stadium, or is there going to be a lot of the people from the West trying to find a way to root for the double blue from the East?
Yeah, it's interesting on that one because I think people are just going to go and party their butt off. That's what I think. That's what I'm hearing. Honestly, I'm hearing, when I walk around the city a little bit and I'm saying, so who are you going to cheer for? Because I'm seeing the hats and the jerseys and things. and it's the home jerseys. It's the Lions, a lot of the Lions jerseys that I'm talking to. And they're all saying, I can't really vote for either, so I'm just going to party my butt off. I go, well, that's not a bad idea either. But, it's funny because the West fans, I don't think, want to cheer for a Western team. And they certainly in Vancouver don't want to cheer for anything Toronto. Like, honestly, like that is like, ugh, they just don't want to do it. So I'm not sure. I think they'll cheer for a close game. They'll cheer for a good game, some big plays. Most people like offense. So we'll see if these guys can switch the script, because the 2 games they played in the regular season, lowest scoring series on the year.
How bad does you talked about Mike O'Shea? How bad does Winnipeg need? How bad does Zach Collaros need this after last year and what's happened in the last few?
Yeah, it's been an interesting narrative in that regard, because people are saying if they don't win, it tarnishes it all, and I just don't agree. You can get to 5 championships in a row. If I signed up for something and they said to me, you can be in 5 championships in a row, and then when you get there, you got to take care of business and you've got to finish, and the comparison is being made of the Buffalo Bills. And, I would say the difference in that compared to this, if the Bombers should lose, is that the Bills were getting blown out in those Super Bowls. They weren't really close. I mean, you go back and you look at last year's Grey Cup, it was a touchdown drive and throw from Cody Fajardo that beat him in the last play of the game. The game before, it was a blocked field goal in 22, and that cost the Bombers the game. I mean, the Argos blocked 2 field goals in that game. How many field goals are blocked in the CFL in 5 years? Maybe 2 max. Probably not. So, those were strange down to the wire losses, or they've won 4 straight. I think that changes the narrative a bit, but if you could tell me I'm going to 5 cups signing up as an athlete, and then you might win some, you might not, I'd take that every single time. That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah. 5 of anything. I don't care how big your league is. Right.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Any other X factors in this one that you're seeing, Glenn?
Usually there's a guy that you don't expect that makes a play in the Grey Cup. And I think about Robbie Smith, who had a penalty in the final drive when the Argos beat the Bombers in Regina. And then he was the guy who blocked the field goal that was the difference in that game. There is often stories like that happen in a Grey Cup. So, could it be a Dejan Brissett or somebody that you don't expect, not the big names that makes a big play? Maybe it's a Tunde Adeleke with an interception for a touchdown who, played his college ball in U Sports. I think of all these guys and the different storylines that could emerge. I'm looking for that. And one other thing, guys, your discussion on marketing dollars was an interesting one. Yeah. Because
What do you know? Is there a BC Lion cleaning your house as we speak? Gives marketing dollars.
No, there's no lion here. No lion housekeeping here going on. But no, I would honestly say that I'm sure that this will be a discussion in league meetings this offseason. I mean, because it's not just the Lions, it's not just Nathan Rourke. It's happening on different teams, especially at the quarterback position. I love the idea of it because it does 2 things. It compensates the players a little bit in the off season for the work they do in the community. And that is so much work that they do. Honestly, the Riders have a great program, and I can't even remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a great program that they have with their players to get out in the community. And yes, they do a lot of charity work that they don't need to be paid and don't want to be paid for. However, a lot of the corporate stuff and things that they do, I think there should be a paycheck for that, or at least some sort of compensation for that. However, this could get completely out of control with these private owners and the big money. And we've added a new private owner and lost one community-owned team. Not a bad thing, just it's the way of the world. And in Edmonton, and I think when you hear coming out of the off seasons, I would suspect they're going to talk about it, and I'd be surprised if there wasn't some sort of cap on it. I think it's way too difficult to put restrictions on how many you do and try to put a price tag on different speaking gigs and things like that you do. I think to try and monitor and gauge all that would be way too complicated and too time consuming. But if you just said, look, you can spend some marketing money on a player, but the cap is X amount of dollars. That's it. And you could still do a semi-audit if you want, and if it was just they were getting money under the table and you found that out, then you could put it towards the cap. But the way it's set up now, Barney, you are bang on. It is way too easy to. I won't say cook the books, but I would say little.
You can say that because that's exactly what it is. Don't be afraid.
Well,
no, it's
well, it would be too easy to say, well, he went to one corporate thing and let's put that down for $10,000. Come on, it's.
Oh, and then you mentioned Larry Thompson owns a massive construction company, signs a quarterback for whatever league minimum, and then all of a sudden said quarterback goes and runs a bulldozer. He gets paid whatever marketing wise. Who knows? It's a slippery slope. I love it though. Yeah. I'd like a Netflix series behind it and the real look behind the curtain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, it's good for the players, and you know what else it does? It keeps the players in the community. So if you commit, let's say you live in Texas and you commit to staying the off season in Saskatchewan, then first of all, you'll find out how cool it is to do that. But secondly, you're going to become more embedded into the community, and I think that's great. What we don't want though is to have like a league where if you buy all the best pitchers, you win the World Series every year or go to it. You don't want to.
And that's where I see the part of the loophole. And then if there's any guys from Texas coming to live up here all year round, they'll be asking for danger pay if they've never spent a winter in Canada. Coulson wants to chime in.
I'm also just wondering, like with the community-owned teams, we get corporate sponsors all the time. So who's to stop a corporation going, yeah, we'll give you $10,000 and that's just going to go straight to this player as marketing money? I know that's also under the table, but now you've got corporations in the province or city that you're in trying to get these players here too.
Businesses, right?
No question. No question. It might not come from the owner of the team. It could come from the business. And then do you add that to the cap and restrict that? So I think, and a lot of these players too, to your point, are trying to build a future beyond football. So they're getting involved with a corporation or a business to work towards what they're going to do when they're done playing the game. And then we don't want to curve that either. We want to give them every opportunity to do that. So I think the discussions will happen in the off season. I think they have to, just because of what you guys have been talking about.
There'll be a cap for sure. Okay, we got about 2 minutes left here. We're going to play this clip. I want you to tell us what you remember. I know you were watching it.
Callum has to hit this one, just so they have that 3-point cushion when the Lions go the other way. Paul McCallum attempting this field goal from the 17-yard line.
Boy, that looks like a chip shot, doesn't it?
Well, how many of those did you hold for Ridgeway?
Many.
What do you remember about that, Glenn? Missed field goal, 17 yards.
Whenever that happened, guys, and I felt so badly for Paul. I know him well, still do, and I feel first for the player because I certainly know what that feels like. And I remember having the same feeling for Dave Ridgeway when in the playoffs in Edmonton, he slipped on a end of the game field goal, hit our offensive lineman in the back of the arm, no good. And I felt so guilty about that, thinking, did I put the tee beside a loose piece of dirt or something? Like, did I not look enough at that? Did he not look at that? Like, and just feel terrible for that. Yeah, but you know what? When you sign up for pro sports, you know that there's going to be great moments and moments that you wish you could have back, and you have to be strong enough to get past them. And Paul McCallum certainly was.
You know what I noticed the other night when I was watching NFL? How it used to be the tee, right? We got to put it on the tee, and now they've just figured out, if it's evolved, if you can't kick it off the turf and off the grass, then you're not kicking. Just interesting. Okay, let's see how this plays out. Still 9 points, and I know you're not a gambler and you don't do predictions, but people here on our text line are thinking I'm crazy. Like Curtis,
who you guys taking?
I'm taking Argos to cover the spread. It's the CFL. It's the Grey Cup game. Crazy things happen.
Cover the spread. Okay. Well, did you get it at 9 or did you get it at 10.5?
No, I got to take it at 9 because I slow played myself out of it. I overthought it. Now I'm at 9 because I'm a bozo. Okay, but then you can laugh at me either way, Glenn, next week. Thanks, buddy. Have a good weekend.
Okay, thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Off to the zip line I go.
There we go. Zip line. If you're watching the stream, you saw Glen Suitor in a hat. He does kind of have a Rob Lowe-ish. Like Rob Lowe when he goes to the courtside or a baseball game, hey?
Yeah, the first thing I thought of when I saw him there, I was like, oh, man, the CFL hat, not showing allegiance to any team, even though we know he bleeds green and white.
Yeah.
Will always be a rider. But, yeah, it's a great look, and I think come on the broadcast with that hat on, and we'll be super impressed.
People will say Rob Lowe, but he'll always be Dean Youngblood to me. If everyone knows the Youngblood hockey
Hamilton
movie.
Mustangs, baby.
Hamilton Mustangs. It is the all-new Sportscage. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're talking rugby. The women's sevens coach from the Olympics. We're going to get into that. It is the all-new Sportscage on the home of football in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Eder Seed and Processing east of Regina is always looking for seed, particularly brown and yellow flax and large caliber peas, including Forest, Comfort, Spruce, and Striker green peas. They're splitting peas for human consumption, and they're always looking to buy. Eder Seed and Processing is licensed and insured with the Canadian Grain Commission. Call Jim at 522-1668 for delivery options and prices. That's 522-1668. Eder Seed and Processing, just east of Regina off Highway 33.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
What a playoff run. The Regina Rams are champions of the 87th Hardy Cup after an exciting 19-14 win over their rival, the Saskatchewan Huskies. The University of Regina Rams will be hosting the Mitchell Bowl, the U Sports National semifinal football game this weekend at Mosaic Stadium. The Rams will kick off against Laval this Saturday at 2 p.m. Get your tickets today at reginarams.com. And let's show everyone why Regina is the best city to catch a game. It's football time. Go Rams!
I'm delving in? What does that even mean? Can you only delve into something? Because you know what I like to do? Delve out of Saskatchewan winters. But at least your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Evolution winter tires. Cooper Evolution winter tires provide exceptional grip and traction in the snow and ice. See your local Cooper tire dealer for Cooper Evolution winter tires. They'll help you delve into winter driving conditions.
Throughout the years, family will always be there for you. Two-Way Service, your Ford dealer in Southie, has been a proud family-owned dealership for over 50 years. The secret to their success? It's simple. Treat everyone like their family. That means no pressure, fair prices, and a fantastic selection of new and used vehicles. That's the Two-Way Service difference. Whether you're shopping for your first car or your 51st, get treated like family at Two-Way Service in Southie. Online at twowayservice.com.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
We're still giving away tickets to the Mitchell Bowl on Saturday, 936-6262. Anyone texting in, some text messages coming in about marketing money. Hey, Eli, shout out. We love you, Eli. He said he knows he's not the most positive fellow in southern Saskatchewan, but he says today, here's a positive for you. Dan Rasovich is our new counselor. I forgot that. Dan Rasovich won a counselor's seat here in Regina. Thanks for the message, Eli. Mitchell Bowl coming up Saturday. We're talking football with the Grey Cup. Why wouldn't we talk a little rugby? I played rugby 1 year in my life out of high school. Played I think it's the wing position. They said, here, fast guy, go out there and just be elusive, like on the football field. And came down to Crush Fest in Regina. And I got my hand stepped on that scrum. It hurt, the big studded cleats? This guy's probably like 250 pounds. Have you ever played it?
100%, yes. My sister played with the under-18 national team. And played at Western in London, Ontario. So when I came into grade 9 in high school, I had skipped a grade. So I was 5 foot, 100 pounds. And they were like, well, your sister's on the national team, so you're on this team. And they put me out on the wing similarly. And
I said, were you adopted?
Yeah, I was adopted. I was not. But yeah, it was super cool. Brantford Collegiate was where I went. We were a factory of rugby. We won all 4 provincial championships that year, but I got stepped on similarly in a ruck and came up, and I had a cleat that had come out and was through skin of my neck.
Yeah.
And my mother never came to watch me play again.
Yeah. It wasn't even the getting hit part. It was like just the weird injuries that happened. But I figured out the whole kick over the head and go and chase it thing. But one year was good enough for me. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. You're thinking about a Christmas present, Christmas stocking stuffer you need, get a Western Pizza gift card. Joining us, Jack Hanratty, head coach of the Women's Olympic Sevens Rugby. If anybody watched this, you remember this run that they were on. It was historic, Jack. Like, I tell you, I was on the edge of my seat, beat the USA, then we're up against New Zealand, and they're just the power. And you guys were up on them. It was like, silver medal, though. Have you come down from the high yet?
No, absolutely not. I mean, this is the best part of the job right now is to enjoy the high. So coming on and chatting it again with you guys, I'll continue the high for the evening.
Yeah. What are you doing? You're in Regina, and you're like here for a week. Our buddy Damon hooked us up here. Said, what are you doing in town?
Well, I'm just hanging out at the Mosaic Stadium, which, first of all, may I say that we need to get a rugby event in there as soon as possible. I'm in for a conference. The Coaches Association of Canada are running a conference, so I was on a panel today, and then I got to go in. Now, I have to say, it's not my first time in Regina. I have had the chance of coaching my homestead of Nova Scotia here a few years ago, and the Atlantic Rock when we were hosted incredibly well as ever. And I ended up getting to actually go to Mosaic Stadium as of course, a Riders fan. But I think I was the only person in the stadium not wearing green. And since my Irish accent, I usually wear green pajamas. So I can't believe I was the only person not wearing green in the stadium. But the atmosphere in that stadium that night was one that now I instantly had a favorite football team.
Yeah, that you don't strike me as a pajama guy, and you look like our newly elected mayor. To be honest with you, a lot of people watching the stream are like, "Hey, they're talking to the new mayor." It's like, no, it's the head coach of Canada's rugby team, Kellen. You want to go big soccer or big rugby guy, Kellen?
Yeah, well, both. Yeah, but Jack, you talked about getting into Mosaic Stadium, and a little peek behind the curtain because I just came from a World with Saskatchewan Soccer where I got to spend lots of time in Mosaic Stadium with Jordan Estrop from rugby there down the hallway. But Mosaic Stadium rumored to be getting new turf in 2026, which will no longer be stitched lines, and then it will be a facility that will be eligible to host national events for both soccer and rugby and lacrosse. So something to look forward to for Saskatchewan, something that was somewhat overlooked when they put in the first set of turf, that they have stitched lines, which makes it very hard for other sports. But on the flip side, sort of a question and a cool opportunity that Jordan was sharing with me earlier today, with you spending some time in the city. You're getting out to some youth sports, and I heard you gave a bit of a pep talk last night in Hockey Regina for a U13 team that went on to do a bit of a stomping. Tell us about just how unique and how cool that experience is to go cross sport.
Yeah, honestly, again, I didn't grow up with hockey, so when I'm going into the locker room and the boys about to go out and try and the puck was about to drop, I didn't know how to actually bond with them. I think I've just used all the hockey terminology that I have in that last two sentences. But the fact that we can inspire a whole group of athletes by showing an Olympic silver medal, it doesn't matter what sport. People are just so addicted to the Olympics in Canada. It's one of the things that we love, whether it's winter or whether it's summer. So to be able to come around and show a bit of hardware about how a pretty proud Canadian group went and performed, it seems like it's pretty easy to inspire anybody to go out and perform afterwards.
What coaches inspire you, right? Because now you're inspiring coaches. What about for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty. Like, you just have to watch every documentary and be pretty happy with it. If you look at soccer, Alex Ferguson was pretty good. The fact that he could have such bad seasons and stay in the job for 20 years is something that I was inspired by, because we didn't have our first our first season didn't go particularly well. I think looking around different coaches is awesome, and different sports as well. I don't want to name too many dynasties of like the Seahawks or the Patriots, but you look at people that were able to keep the room for such a long time, and it's certainly something that I look at. And in my own sport of rugby, there's different sorts of X factors and ones that I'm able to deal with, but there's some people like Kieran Crowley who coached the Canadian national team a number of years ago that I certainly look to as a bit of an inspiration, even though we couldn't be further from the same personality.
Before you go, I just I want to say, you went dynasty in Seattle Seahawks. I am a Patriots guy. I know Pete Carroll is a good guy and all, but there's no dynasty in those Seahawks.
Oh no, they're his podcast is. I was only talking about the podcast. That was
okay.
It. Not actual results. Like a dynasty in leadership referral. Guys, you have me on. I'm like, listen, I can talk to you about stats and every part of rugby there is, and I am an absolute nerd. But I've used up all my hockey references and all my football references in about 3.5 minutes.
I love it.
Yeah, you talk about making the crossover to football, obviously transferable skills, but just quickly here, we have about 30 seconds. Talk about, you had some time with a CFL organization?
Yeah, I had a great opportunity to go out and talk tackle technique and tracking with BC Lions, and even just having those conversations. We don't really understand how alike and how far apart we are. So what might be normal for me in terms of how we develop the tackle was something that felt like such new information to a defensive coordinator, which in my mind actually made me feel like the smartest guy in the room. And I think, honestly, the better for all sport is if we can transfer these skills and the knowledge bases and guys that have gone on to maybe fall off the radar in terms of football, let's get them into rugby and say that, like, you can still represent your country and perform in front of massive stadiums, because, I mean, it's a no better feeling.
Oh, no doubt. Okay, we got 20 seconds here. What's next for you after you come down from this high?
Yeah, I'm actually leaving the position because I think exiting stage left with cigar in hand is the best thing you can do. So I'm off to go and coach the University of Ottawa women's rugby program there. But I won't be a stranger, and hopefully I'll have more excuses to come to this wonderful province.
All right. Hey, I'm going to leave you with this. Get pucks in deep, 110%, and all five guys on the ice.
And I'll leave you with this. 2-0. It's the worst lead in hockey.
What a beauty. Jack, thanks so much. Continued success, and thanks for taking some time today.
Thanks, Go GGs.
Go GGs. Yeah. It is the all-new Sports Cage. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're talking more Mitchell Bowl, U of R Rams, on the home of the U of R Rams, 620 CKRM.
On the farm, dirt doesn't just get under your fingernails. It runs through your veins. Your equipment is just as tough. You bought it for its rugged dependability and efficient operation. To keep your machinery running as good as the day you bought it, you want genuine AGCO parts, fluids, and filters from Nick Service. Their friendly parts staff has what your equipment needs to keep it running at the top of its game. Keep it genuine at Nick Service, your local genuine AGCO parts headquarters.
What a playoff run! The Regina Rams are champions of the 87th Hardy Cup after an exciting 1914 win over their rival, the Saskatchewan Huskies. The University of Regina Rams will be hosting the Mitchell Bowl, the U Sports National semifinal football game this weekend at Mosaic Stadium. The Rams will kick off against Laval this Saturday at 2 p.m. Get your tickets today at reginarams.com. And let's show everyone why Regina is the best city to catch a game. It's football time. Go Rams!
It's been a long day. I don't want to cook. Oh, I'm going to surprise the family with a pizza night. Oh, I'll be a hero. My family might actually pick me up in celebration and carry me around the kitchen, and they'll chant my name, and I'll be celebrated until the end of time when I...
This isn't Western pizza. I thought you loved us.
Don't pizza fail. Get what they want. It's gotta be Western pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western pizza.
Anytime you see something our listeners should know about, call or text us. 306-936-6262. Driven by Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. CapitalFordLincoln.com on 620 CKRM. The all-new Sports Cage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
We are going to be joined by Rams offensive lineman Parker Hodel coming up in a bit as I get ready for the Laval Rouge et Or on Saturday at Mosaic Stadium. Tickets, again, $20 general admission, $10 for youth. That's 6 to 17-year-olds. 5 and under free. U of R students are free with a valid student ID. AGT, if you want to sit in the warmth up there and get your feed bag on, $75 for general admission tickets up there. And then for regular seats, if you got a corporation, you want to buy 100 tickets for the general seating. 100 tickets, just $1,000. It's the corporate ticket package that they have. I'm traveling up north, unfortunately. I'll be watching it. I'm wondering what kind of crowd do you think they're going to get?
I think it would be awesome. 10,000 out of reach. Am I crazy?
That's a really good question.
I was looking at earlier in the show, we were looking at talking about the OUA, and there was on the Laurier site. It looks like earlier in their year, homecoming at McMaster in Hamilton was 5,500, and then they were getting around 4,000. There was 4,800 last weekend at the end of their season in Windsor. Carlton says there was 0 fans, so I don't know. I would what would there have been at the Hardy Bowl or at the Hardy Cup Hardy party?
It would have been, I don't know what did we say Griffith Stadium holds? I would have said around. What do you think is we're gonna see Coulson for a crowd?
I think Saskatchewan will show up. You know, it's a local team. I think they'll be excited for it.
Give us a number.
I'm expecting over 10,000.
Really? Okay, good. Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon, capacity, it says 6,100. I think they would have piled more into that on Friday or on Saturday last week. Some standing room. There was a lot of people in line, the lineups to get in. There would have been a lot of guzzling going on too. 10,000 would be a nice crowd. Just the one. Will they just go the one side? At Mosaic, will they have to go the whole lower bowl?
I'm not sure. My history as a ticket guy says fill the side that's TV visible, make the crowd look bigger, paper the building. come back
But
the
then
other
don't
side
you
after.
want as many people yelling at the Laval bench as possible?
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of factors to it. In terms of making the crowd look full, you always want to paper the building, sell out the side that's TV visible, and then work your way back and hope that the reverse camera doesn't get shown very often.
Tomorrow on the program, we're going to recap, obviously, the awards ceremony that's happening at the Grey Cup today. One thing, Ryan Pollock's in tomorrow with me. What do you think about the big boxing match tomorrow night? Don't say you don't care. Come on.
Is there a way where they both punch each other at the same time so hard that we never hear from either one of them again?
Like Apollo and Rocky?
Yeah, just both go down. Definitely, if somebody's got to win, Mike Tyson. If the Pauls, both of them can fly a kite, as far as I'm concerned. But
speaking of that, I wonder if there is, there it is, Paul Tyson on CoolBet. We have Paul as minus 175. Tyson's plus 163. Draw plus 900. Draw. That'd be the fix. We're going to talk about it tomorrow.
Paul Tyson 2.
Paul Tyson 2. The pay-per-view event. Netflix. I wonder what Netflix is paying for this. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it was on Netflix. NFL tonight. Commanders and Eagles. Eagles are 4.5 there. Elsewhere, we talked about NHL. Winnipeg, 15-1 in Tampa. Nashville in Edmonton. Habs are in Mini, and Phillies in Ottawa. Those are your Canadian teams. No games in the Western Hockey League tonight. No games in the SJ. We'll be running down that tomorrow as Flin Flon goes into Kindersley for that Southie Mainline Chrysler worth the drive battle in Kindersley. No AAA U18 tonight. Oh, the one U15 AA game at the Wick. 7:45 and all Regina battle, Monarchs and Aces. It's a cancer night. $5 admission to get into there. And nothing on the senior docket. We'll have the senior hockey report tomorrow here on the Sports Cage. I know you got a jet.
No, just one other note on hockey. I think now that we're 10 minutes out, we can let it slide so there isn't a horde of people there. But Lord Stanley is in town in Regina tonight. Tim Hortons hockey card trading night. Prince of Wales location, the sheriff says. I had it narrowed down to 3 locations with my contact at Tim Hortons, but Alan says it's at Prince of Wales, Tim Hortons, tonight between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. Bring your white gloves. Go check out Lord Stanley's mug.
Quick break. When we come back, we're talking Rams offensive lineman Parker Hodel. It's the all-new Sports Cage on the home of the Rams, 620 CKRM.
Hey, farmers, ranchers, and producers. The Acres for Education campaign by Agriculture in the Classroom Saskatchewan is challenging you to invest in your farm's future by donating to agriculture education. Students today are our future workforce and consumers. Your donation will get students out of the classroom, giving them real-life experiences that will shape their views on agriculture, help inspire today's youth, and build a resilient agriculture future. Donate at aitc.sk.ca/Acres for Education.
What a playoff run. The Regina Rams are champions of the 87th Hardy Cup after an exciting 1914 win over their rival, the Saskatchewan Huskies. The University of Regina Rams will be hosting the Mitchell Bowl, the U Sports National semifinal football game this weekend at Mosaic Stadium. The Rams will kick off against Laval this Saturday at 2 p.m. Get your tickets today at reginarams.com. And let's show everyone why Regina is the best city to catch a game. It's football time. Go Rams!
Winter's here, so that means winter driving is too. Make sure you have tires that are ready to handle the rigors of your constant errands with a quick trip to Quality Tire. At 7 degrees Celsius, the rubber on all-season tires start to harden in the cold. Winter tires stay softer in the cold weather, allowing better traction, increased control, and better braking. Get yours at Quality Tire. Get quality selection, prices, and service at Quality Tire, with 9 locations across Saskatchewan.
QualityTire.ca.
Grow bold with the Fendt Ideal 10 Combine, available at Nick's Service. The Fendt Ideal 10 offers 790 horsepower and features the same Fendt ID engine speed concept made popular in the lineup of tractors. This means maximum horsepower and torque are achieved at lower RPMs, giving you tremendous fuel efficiency. With a 485 bushel grain tank capable of unloading at 6 bushels per second, turn downtime into dust with the Fendt Ideal 10 Combine. See one today at Nick's Service in Emerald Park.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. End of the show here, like we've been talking about it. The Mitchell Bowl, the U of R Rams. Get your tickets. $20 to get in. 5 and under free. Get into the AGT for $75. You can give your corporation. You can get 100 tickets for $1,000. What a deal! Those are regular tickets. Remember, those aren't your AGT tickets. No, it's going to be a great game. They need our support against Laval. Ryan had to go, but I'm going to handle this one. We are joined by fifth-year O-lineman from the U of R, Parker Hodel. Parker, fifth year, but you said you've been with the program for 8. Like, that's an eternity almost.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. Yeah, when you look back on it, came straight out of high school in 2017, and you think that it's going to be forever, and now that you're in your final year, you're like, oh my God, where did time go? And go from a fresh-faced, little rookie to now a grizzled old vet. It's quite a change for sure.
You said you were a Winston Knoll guy, NOD, so that those handlebars fit in nice. I like it. I'm up there. Let's get down to the real brass tacks here, and Laval, right? Like, you've been around. You've played 5 years. You've been there 8. You've seen the good, the powerful in the West. What are you expecting on the line from Laval?
Yeah, they're just a very talented group. They have a lot of guys who, rotate in and out. Lots of different things that they can do. Big, strong guys. So we've seen that in the Can West. Can West, as we always say, is the best conference. Once you make it out, you have a really good shot of going all the way. But just the presence that they have. They have 2 big guys inside, and then their edge rushers are multiple, and where you have speed or you have power guys. So they bring you a lot of challenges that way, and just we're super excited for the matchup.
Is watching tape very key for you guys on the O-line, or is it actually getting out and playing against like a scout team, or having guys come at you with the same scheme that Laval will?
I think it's both. You have to watch film, especially with, it's not a opponent you play, twice a year, so you get a feel for the guy, so you have to watch film in that case of just to see who they are, what they love to do. And we have great coaches, in Ro Borgman and Brett Jones, who really break down the tape for us and, tell us what they all like to do, their tendencies, all of those stats, which are very helpful. But you do have to get on the practice field and actually have a live rep at it, because that's where you're going to see how things actually feel and, the timings of all that. So I would say it's probably multiple and all those together that really make the whole package together.
Anybody that's been around football for the last, 20 some years, and especially the college side, the name Laval Rouge Or, right? We've watched them on national TV how many times. Is it fitting for you, your last kick at this, that you get to play this big red machine?
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely, they're such a storied program there. They've won many Vandy Cups there, and just it's really cool to be able to go up against a team like that with such a rich culture, and just super exciting for the program as well. Haven't won a Hardy in 24 years, and now we're able to go play against one of the best teams in the country on a national stage. So it'll be really exciting for sure.
And you get to play them at home. Like, what's your support going to be like? Being a Regina guy, like how many people are you going to have in those stands?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but definitely it'll be a lot. It's it's awesome to just be at home and just have that comfort of being able to. I think Noah said already, but just being able to sleep in your own bed, do your own routine, and just make sure that you're able to keep to your structure. But definitely, especially as a 5th year guy, I'll have a lot of family, friends, and loved ones out there to support me. But it'll just be an amazing atmosphere for sure.
This was great to chat with you, because I was saying, after watching that game at the Hardy up in Saskatoon. I'm like, this O-line isn't getting the recognition because they're just bullying the Huskies. Like you guys did a fantastic job. Thanks so much. I know you guys are busy. Get back to that film and the practice, and can't wait for Saturday.
Hey, appreciate it very much. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Right on. What a beauty right there. Offensive lineman Parker Hodel from the U of R Rams. Yeah, the game goes 2 o'clock, kickoff, Mosaic Stadium. It's right here on 620 CKRM. That's it for me today. Coming up tomorrow, I got Ryan Pollock joining me. Daryl Leeson, U of R legend when it comes to quarterback. He's going to jump in. We're going to talk about the Tyson and Paul fight and a whole lot more. We'll see you in about 22 hours.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News. Just over 2 weeks after selecting their next provincial government, voters in Saskatchewan went to pick their next community leaders.